why it's really important to have a plan. Have a plan and understand what your goals are.
In fact, my camel out there is suffering right now with a broken back.
So I actually found Pepe when it was only a couple of hours old, and I'm like, oh, this is a funny meme.
Oh my god.
Yo! Who is this DJ?
The old man is swing trading over years at a time. And it's like, that's where the real money is made.
The answer is a permanent loss. With single-sided staking, you don't have to worry about impermanent loss.
And really, at the end of the day, it's just a matter of a macro market. It's just what happens.
If you're aware, if you're disciplined, you can hone that into further financial growth.
Financial freedom. So we can actually live life and not have to be constantly living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, more or less, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My gum got stuck in my teeth. Crypto degenerates, ducks and squirrels. Welcome to this here Whiskey Wednesday Ask Me Anything episode of the DGen Roundtable. I will be your host for tonight. My name is Will Stevenson. For those of you guys that don't know me or who I am, I'm an iron worker that travels the states building TV and radio towers. And in my free time, I like to talk cryptocurrency and self-improvement to degenerates such as these fine gentlemen. Joining me tonight, we have Nate, the Ascending Man, one of the networkers here for the DGen Roundtable. We have Brendan, the Anonymous Bean. He's our macroeconomics and government specialist and analyst gentleman. And we've also got Josh, Avenge the Fallen, one of the OG founders and members. He taught me everything I know about hosting the DGen Roundtable. Gentlemen, it's good to have you tonight. Welcome to the stream, and welcome to all you folks watching either live or on the replay. But I want to ask the panel, bros, what is new and exciting with you? How you doing? Nate, what's up, bro?
Oh, you know, lots of things have happened over the weekend or over the week, as we all know. So just trying to gather in as many data points, kind of see what's going on. I've been doing some analysis, and I've got a new video that I'm going to be putting out. I'm hoping by this weekend that will be a great lesson for everybody to learn. And what I am drinking today is good old water, sparkling water. Because I am out of alcohol in the house currently.
That's okay. You know, we don't judge if people are sipping on some water. You know, we might be sipping on some whiskeys, or in my case, I actually, I have a lot of gin in my house. And I have all of these random specialty gins, and some I just don't care for that much. So I'm like, let's get through these bottles. Let's start drinking them. So today I am drinking the Buckingham Palace small batch dry gin from I bet you can guess, England. And it's been a while since I had it, but it's actually a pretty good gin. It's just it's traditional London dry with some good botanicals in there. And then I am also sipping on my my gluten-free Redbridge beer as a little sidecar. So that is what I am drinking on. And then as far as everything else, I started a new job. This is my 5th week at the new job, and really starting to get into it a little bit. It was like a bit of a big transition after working for another company for 10 years. But starting to make some decisions and starting to see some processes that need some changing and fixing. And yeah, I'm excited for it. It's gonna take me to a new part of the country. So if you haven't been to Miami, come visit me in the next few months. I'll be here. But after that, no guarantees. But yeah, I'm excited. For new opportunity for Brendan and I. And I also want to say that I know a lot of people are struggling out there. The Richard Heart ecosystem has been super divisive the last month, especially the last couple of weeks. But there is hope. We are here to bring you some of that tonight. So, Josh, great to see you, buddy. It's been a while. I know you've been a busy man. How you doing?
Good, man. I cannot wait to drive to hang out with you versus flying to hang out with you. That's going to be a good time.
Hell yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
Definitely can't wait for that. Summer 2025, it's going to be popping. So can't wait for that. Life's been good, man. I've been super busy at work. Yeah, that's pretty much just been it with me. You know, my full-time job's been consuming my life. You guys know what I do. I kind of want to keep that private. So, but my full-time job, my real life has sort of been swallowing up pretty much every little bit of me since January or February. So, but markets are doing something different right now. It's interesting. I've still been sort of keeping an eye on it, but the markets are definitely doing something that haven't happened in cycles in the past. So it's interesting. You know, Ethereum bottomed 6 months before Bitcoin did in 2021. So could that mean that Ethereum's doing something different towards the top? Have we already reached the top? Are we heading towards a bear market over the next 4 years? You know, these are all questions that are up in the air right now. They're valid questions. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see where the market goes, what's going on. Of course, when you think of everything that's going on with the tariffs going on with the U.S. government and everything like that, could that have an impact on what's pulling the market down? Could that have an impact on stifling the growth of Bitcoin right now? Or, you know, are we just all idiots and Bitcoin's going to continue with its massive surge into the summer, into the fall? So, you know, it'll be interesting to talk about, but we're definitely in a situation right now where if people are fearful, they have a right to be fearful because we're in a situation right now that we haven't seen before. So, but yeah, that's pretty much me. Will, what's going on, buddy? I love seeing. I cannot, dude. I love seeing that smile. What's going on with you, buddy?
Bro, I'm doing good. I'm actually leaving. I'm leaving Agent J's house. I was hanging out with Agent J up until the point where we started this stream. It was kind of funny. We were in the restaurant, you know, enjoying some burgers and shooting the shit and talking about like what we're gonna do with ourselves here in life. And basically, it's like life is looking good. We're either gonna force our way into wealth by like, you know, manipulating the materials in the world around us and getting rich the old-fashioned way, or we're going to get rich the crypto gambling way or whatever. But like the ultimate goal is to just hang out with the amigos, develop relationships, like, and you know, like foster learning in the community and just be around a whole bunch of competent gentlemen and stuff. And it's really cool that we're building that here in the DGen Roundtable. And so him and I were both just kind of reflecting on that for a little bit. And it's fun to think about what's going on here, like whether the bags are pumping or the bags are dumping. Like, we're learning a lot. And one of the things that I would give a shout out to SJ here. One of the things that she says is like, we may be down in our like portfolio values or whatever, but we're like 10x richer in the communities and the friendships and the camaraderie and the people that we go out and meet and develop like real life relationships with and stuff. So it's just that was one of the things that me and Agent J were talking about. And I'm on my way to go see Zenith, so I'm gonna hang out with Zenith tomorrow. It's gonna be a good time. We're gonna shoot the shit and have some fun. Like, it's just been a nonstop bounce around the country for me, going and meeting with family, going and doing jobs, and I'm happy to be on the road and doing this stuff. So that's what's new and exciting with me, and I'm glad to see you here, broski. It's good to have you back on this fantastic Whiskey Wednesday, and glad to see everyone with us. And speaking of the folks that we're glad to see with us right now, Mrs. Producer, it's about damn time for everyone's favorite part of the show. It's time for chat motherfucking shout-outs before we start getting into the topics of conversation today. So if you would be so kind as to start bringing up some of these fantastic chats, I'll go ahead and read them out loud for us. First up, we've got our loyal Mr. Kenturian54X. What's up, D-Gens? Is it 40K time? No, it is not Warhammer 40K time. We're doing a normal Whiskey Wednesday today. I had totally forgotten to ask Zenith if he's ready to rock and roll with Warhammer 40K. I know that was something that we were kind of thinking about and just like tossed around as an idea for a Whiskey Wednesday show, but we ultimately decided on a Whiskey Wednesday for today because there's a couple things we want to talk about, but we mostly just want to shoot the shit and hang out. So it's good to see a Centurion. The Warhammer 40K stream will probably be at some point in the future, but that was just kind of like a last minute a last minute idea. So I'm definitely interested in doing it. Warhammer seems like a really cool set of storytelling. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. So I'm very interested in it. I just didn't do I didn't do my due diligence and set it up correctly. So we're doing this awesome stream instead, and I'm happy to have everyone here. Next up for the chat shoutouts, Mrs. Producer, we've got Mr. Funkmaster Hex. As always, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening to you too, sir. I am also drinking water tonight. I forgot who had said, yep, Nate's drinking water. I'm drinking water. Brendan's got his gin. Josh, I can't remember what you said you had over there. Some probably, some fancy people drink stuff. I can't
Whiskey
quite
and
see.
Coke,
I'm looking
probably of some sort, something like that. Whiskey and diet.
I got myself a Jack Honey and Coke this evening.
Ooh, Jack Honey Coke. Excellent.
That's what I'm sipping on.
Well, I'm not drinking and driving in the traditional sense. I'm drinking water and driving. So it's good to see you, Funkmaster Hex. Cheers to you, amigo. And I'm glad that we could have you in the stream with us today. Next up for chat shoutouts. And by the way, I have no idea when we get to the last of the chat shoutouts. So this will just be interesting. We've got Mr. Chad Donnerschwanz. I'm guessing this is the last one because Nate just gave me a thumbs up. But Chad Donnerschwanz says, hello, fellow based crypto bros. Hello to you too, Chad. Good to see you, broski. I always love seeing the jacked Pepe on the moon, and reading your beautiful last name there always gets a nice little grin from me. And I suppose that does it for the chat shoutouts. We'll cover the rest of them. More. Oh, there's a couple more. Oh, there's two more. Oh, I missed the two sign there. We do it live. All right, next up, we've got Josh TH saying, we are all enjoying some humble pie dye. Well, some people that had holdings at least. Yes, there is a I had sold my P dye a while back. I didn't have a whole lot to begin with, but I had exited the position a while back at one of the shortly after one of the peaks, and I was like, this seems like a good time to take profits. But yeah, the P dye stuff that's been going on over the last couple weeks has just been an absolute ooh, what's the word I want to use? Ontological shock, I should say. Yeah, shit show is one way to put it. But like a lot of people's worlds got turned upside down with the tweets from Richard, with people finding out that like, oh, there's been this dude that's been basically getting a whole bunch of P dye for super cheap and then just selling it on the open market. He's been doing this apparently since the very beginning. We started out with 6 billion or something P dye at the original fork, and now we're up to like 24 billion. So that extra 18 billion came from somewhere, which is like the maker contract doing what it's supposed to be doing. And homie found a way to not like, it's not like it's like a technicality in the code that just doesn't work on Pulse Chain the same way that it works on Ethereum. And so he's able to get some P dye for super duper cheap and then sell it at whatever the price is, as long as the ratios and the numbers are right and correct or whatever the heck. But man, it has been an interesting time in the near future. So shout out to you, sir, Mr. Josh TH, and glad that we could have you with us tonight. Let's see. Ooh, I got to change lanes, but
we may have a couple more. I'll pick up.
Oh, we got a couple more
for if you want.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
We got Kay Hudson saying, marketing campaign. Look, all publicity is good publicity, right? That's what they say. So bringing eyes to the chain. There are some bad things in the short term when it comes to bad publicity, but long term, generally all publicity is good publicity. So,
yep,
agreed. And then we got Agent J in the house. What's up, sir? Who's the guy on the far right? Looks like Josh, but way more jacked. Out of the way.
Hell yeah.
Shout out, Jay. Bro, I can't wait to talk to you again, man.
It's got to be good.
Hexkin Lost in Asia. Thanks for the show, D-Gens. Thank you, brother, for popping in here. So we're still Hex heavy, and we are still positive on the Richard ecosystem. So also we had Kentorion, or as some people say, Centurion 54X. He said he meant 40K BTC. It's all going to zero.
Oh, okay. Because when, like, I didn't know the 40K thing, so my first idea was like, oh, 40. Your portfolio goes from 40K down to 400. Yay!
I was thinking 40K Bitcoin, so I understood what you were saying, buddy.
Ooh.
Let me clarify. Me and Zenith were talking a lot of Warhammer 40K on the Sunday stream, so that's what that's what the we were thinking about doing a nerd show for this Whiskey Wednesday. It was an idea we were tossing back and forth while we were live, but as you can see, we are not doing a Warhammer 40K stream. But yeah, for those of you guys that aren't familiar, it's a super cool like lore thing. One of the biggest lore worlds that I know of. But yeah, that's the Bitcoin. Oh, excuse me, Bitcoin to 40K. That would be an interesting time. That would I don't know if that would how that would put us as far as like bear market lows and
straight in the bear market, my friend. Straight.
Yeah,
that's where we're put. But look, we're at 86, almost 87K still on Bitcoin, somewhere around there. Last time I looked. The alts are still rough, but Bitcoin's holding pretty strong overall. We never touched any of the emergency numbers that would have scared me when we dropped down to 80, high 70s. So we never took the areas that would have really given me an alarm to put me in a potential bear market mindset. So I'm still very, very much in a bull market mindset. And, interestingly enough, look, we're still not even a year from the Bitcoin halving. And remember, we'd reached all-time highs from previous cycles pre-halving. And that was something that was very unique during this cycle. And so we have to anticipate that this cycle is probably going to be a little bit different and a little bit more unique than previous cycles because of the institution adoption, because of the ETFs, because of some government, and companies creating strategic Bitcoin reserves. And so there's a lot going on out there in the market that is very positive for crypto. But unfortunately, there's still the macroeconomic side of things where there's some uncertainty in the market, right? We still have wars. We still have some tariff wars. And our current president of the United States had always said, hey, look, there's going to be some short-term pain for some long-term gain. And we have seen some of that. We may see some more. But overall, we're still not even a year from the halving, right? So I think last cycle was 18 months from halving where we hit the top. Second 4-year cycle, it was 17 months, and the first cycle was 12 months. This one, so 12, 17, 18. So while we're putting 12 to 18 months as sort of the estimate, if you actually look at them in a pattern, we're increasing how long each cycle takes to get to the Bitcoin top, right? So 12 months, 17 months, 18 months. So could this cycle be 20 months, 24 months? That is certainly possible. Like, I don't want to say that's what we should expect. But it's certainly in the cards, especially with the way that the market's playing out currently, the way that they have kind of slowed the quantitative easing from a macroeconomic standpoint. So the more money that's going into the market, helps altcoins, right? More risk. People tend to take on more risk as interest rates are low and more money's out there in the market. So there's a lot going on, and it's not bad per se. It's just different. Josh, I know you kind of had talked about something when we were starting about kind of a different market than you had seen previously. That's kind of just a brief overview of my insight and say, hey, look, let's not just think we're going to 0 or 40K, as Centurion said, but we're still well within the 4-year cycle. And while alts have not had their day in the sun, Bitcoin is king, and it's still doing pretty well overall.
You're right. I hope what you just said is correct. We are in a different situation right now. I don't know if I'm as optimistic, and I'll tell you why. So there's only been one time in Bitcoin's past where, if you look at now I'm just talking TA specifically here, and if Jay was on or if Zenith was on, they could probably speak a little bit more to this. So in 2021, we saw on the weekly chart for Bitcoin some strong bearish divergence on the weekly chart, which indicated that the bull market was over with and that we were going into the bear market. That same bearish divergence has already been observed on the Bitcoin chart for 2024 into 2025. So while I hope that is just an anomaly, it's interesting. Ethereum has never responded like this far into a cycle in its history. We haven't seen this period before. We're definitely in a situation where the market is doing something drastically different. Now, you can chalk it up to, hey, look, ever since Bitcoin's inception, we've been in a situation of quantitative easing where the Federal Reserve was just printing money. And then since 2021, 2022, we've been in a tightening phase, and that sort of has a ramification on where we are right now. Or you can look at it and say, has Bitcoin reached the point to where those monster gains are sort of out of reach at this point? And is Bitcoin in a position to where it's leaving all the altcoins in the dust? I don't know. I don't know. It's still to be written because of where we are right now. What I can tell you is that at this point in 2021 and at this point in 2017, Ethereum was blowing through the roof. And it's not right now. And all the ERC20s are falling. All the forks, to include Pulse Chain, are falling. So we're definitely in a different situation right now. I want to be as consistent as possible. And when I say that I have a belief in technical analysis, I don't want to believe that the bullish divergence that we're seeing on the weekly chart right now, I want to say that that's just a fluke, that's just an anomaly, but I can't say that necessarily. So yeah. I don't know. I'm the type of, it's tough for me to say. I can't say one way or another. All I can say is I hope that we're still in a bull market, but I don't know, because everything that I've learned up until this point tells me that over the next year to over the next 18 months, we may see a downturn. I don't want to be a bad news bearer or anything like that, but that's, I'm in a position right now where it's tough for me to talk about. Anybody else have anything else that they can say on this?
I was wondering if you could actually show us that on the chart. That was a possibility.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Let me pull up my TA. I'll pull that up.
Talk while you're pulling it up, Josh, if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you guys want to, and if you guys don't think what I'm saying is accurate, please throw a wrench in it, because I'm looking for somebody to throw a wrench in it. It's just hard for me to think.
Yeah, what's interesting is in 2021, Bitcoin's top happened right before we started to raise interest rates. And, it's kind of the opposite now. Then we had 0% interest rates almost, right, for like 10 years, like something crazy. And it was shortly after the top that there was talk of raising interest rates, right? Spooked the market. And also still a lot of pushback from the pandemic that had been forced upon us for a year in some places. So there was a lot of pressure being put on the market when Bitcoin hit its top. Had it not been for the pandemic, my guess is Bitcoin very, very likely, or very, very possibly, I won't say likely, very possibly could have continued up. But because of the factors that were going on around it, it really stunted its potential. Now we turn to this cycle, and we hit the highest before we we've hit sort of got to all-time highs before we even really started to get the true quantitative easing, really try to get the real cuts, just because of the influx of money being put into Bitcoin. So if we continue to see the market respond positively and interest rates get cut. Now, again, that's yet to be seen. I'm not saying that's a definite, but that could put some much needed money into the market where, again, the other side of it in 2021, they were already fearful about interest rates going up. So very different time. And look, there's still a lot of uncertainty in the market, both from a chart standpoint, a TA standpoint, and also from a macroeconomic standpoint, right? Like there's just a lot going on in the world that could push us one way or another. And so we don't know. I'm not saying that we're definitely going higher, but my current thesis is still higher. My current thesis is still bullish. But that doesn't mean that I don't have two potential theses. And I'm not looking at both sides of the coin. But if you were to ask me right now, yeah, I'm still bullish on the market. We haven't taken any numbers that make me scared. I mean, unit bullish divergence brings us back down to 80K or 78K again. Doesn't bother me. But if we start pushing back up and we start to see some positive momentum, we could really, I still think we have a lot of sort of suppressed pressure that could bring us upwards. But yeah, I'm still positive.
I think suppressed pressure is the exact thing to say there. The institutions obviously are absolutely gigantic whales that are able to manipulate the market. And now they have ETFs they need to contend with, right? So these ETFs, obviously, it's customers that they need to at least keep somewhat happy. You can't be having the volatility that Bitcoin would usually be having going to the downside. So you got to kind of like move things and make it more evened out. That's one thing. I do want to correct you in something here, though. I've been hearing you guys talking about that this is the first time Bitcoin has ever been in quantitative easing. That is untrue, actually. The last time that they had quantitative easing was in 2015, and that lasted until 2018, in which they had a percentage point. Now, granted, this one is only half that we currently have, but a total percentage point of 2.25. So, and then there was a yield curve inversion with that. As it just so happens, the 2017 cycle was actually the greatest bull run crypto had ever had. So quantitative tightening was happening during that bull run. But there was something else that's incredible too. And it's like, oh, wow, this is really weird how they're all coming together like this. Trump was also in office during that time too. And it took a bit of time for his tariff wars at that time to actually kick into effect. I think what we're seeing right now is literally just the same type of deal is what happened back then, where these tariff wars, I mean, obviously you can go to the stock market right now and then even look at the gold chart, and the stock market is dumping like hell, the same thing as crypto, but gold hit a new all-time high. Like, people are scared right now. There's a lot of uncertainty, as you said, Bean, And so because of that, I think that there's the way that I'm viewing the market right now is it's a spring, and it's getting pulled back and back.
Yeah, I will say, yeah, there was a small period of quantitative tightening. You're correct. During that
very
time frame.
Small and
very small. It wasn't nearly to where we are now. However, you are correct there. But I don't know. I feel like, especially post COVID, we're in a period right now where it's just been more concentrated. And Cass, if you can, I can just show you guys real quick anecdotally what I was talking.
I think we lost him. Yikes!
Oh, I thought I lost. Oh,
I thought it was me.
fiddlesticks.
Oh, Will lost us all.
No, I'm still around.
Well,
oh boy.
Well, his chart's up, so I'm kind of taking a look here. 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I do see.
Sound check. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you
okay.
fine. I can see where he's going with this bearish divergence, but I would like to hear what he's going to say before I comment on it. But I do see it there. As price goes up, but here on the bottom, our side goes down. Yeah. So anyway, we'll come back to that when we get him back up. Can we take that down just because it's stuck there? Will, do you have any thoughts that you wanted to share here?
Man, you guys are talking about stuff that's so far over my head. I do know that like this cycle is different, and I kind of wonder to myself how, like, I can't put myself in the mindset of the last 4-year cycle because I didn't know as much then as I know now. But I wonder, like, from a perspective of someone who's been in like all the cycles, how much has each one changed from the one before it? Like, what percentage of ontological shock did each one of them experience when they're basically like, oh wow, this new cycle is totally different from all the ones like that came before. This one is totally different from the one right before. Like, if we were to measure like some sort of subjective or objective like percentage point of difference between each cycle from the last one, it's like, oh, this one's like 40%. But you know, us looking back on it right now, we have like the bias of being in our shoes, having gone through this one. I'm pretty sure we've all done one cycle basically, of the like all the three of us. Like, this is our first full from beginning to end in the cryptocurrency world. I don't know, am I missing? Oh, we got Josh back. But that's the thing that I wonder about, is like, from the perspective of the person at the time when the cycle is doing the changes, they're like, whoa, it's completely breaking this whole new paradigm thing. But how much is like, how much are we measuring with like our rose colored glasses and things like that? So that's just the kind of,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I only speak from my own experience from last cycle to this cycle. But you know, interestingly enough, again, first time we've ever hit an all-time high prior to the halvening, right? First time we've had ETFs. First time that we've had institutions able to invest in Bitcoin. Let's not forget that there was some downward pressure because institutions had to hold Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as a negative on their balance sheet. And now, you know, they just took that off. So we'll see if that's going to have any effect on how institutions leverage their plays. But nonetheless, I just remember when Bitcoin hit all-time highs in 2021, I was very high and everyone was saying 100K, 100K, 100K. And look, the market seemed to dictate that. It seemed to, except for the fact that people weren't paying attention to the macroeconomic landscape. They weren't paying attention to the inflationary pressures that printing money for the pandemic was having on the market. They weren't paying attention to the potential soon to be interest rate hikes. So there was a lot of things happening that we probably at the time should have seen. And like you're saying, maybe that's what Josh is saying now. Maybe this is what we should see. But for me, I just see it in a different light because we have the big players still buying. When big players like BlackRock, like World Liberty Finance, like MicroStrategy, when they're continuing to buy at large clips, that tells me that they think something else is happening, and they're not looking for a downturn yet. When I look to institutions, they generally are doing the opposite, often doing the opposite of what the people are doing. Right now, retail's not buying and institutions are. So when retail starts to buy and institutions start to dump, that's a switch that'll flip for me.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head right there. If you're doing the same thing that everyone else is doing, then you're going to get the same thing as what everyone else has got. And when I take a look around, everyone else has got like, you know, unhappy results and like not crazy big bags. But like what you had just said, if BlackRock's buying, then maybe I should, you know, consider holding longer because they didn't get to where they're at by making terrible decisions and stuff like that. Josh, I see we've got you back as well, broski. You had cut out right as soon as you brought the chart up, so I don't know how much you were explaining or what it looked like on. Yeah, we saw the chart. Can you?
I went through the whole thing and realized that I cut out. So like, I was just talking to myself. Here's what I'm going to try. I'm going to try to bring it up. If I drop again, then I'm just not gonna. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the problem is. But
we do it live.
I'm gonna try. Yeah, I'm gonna try to present it one more time, and we'll see where we can go from there. So give me a second.
Okay. Internet, baby.
All right, here we go. Let me
And
know
before
when
you
guys
launch
see
into
it.
your,
Yeah.
we can see it. And give us a sound check real quick.
Yeah, you guys got me? Check.
Yep, we can
All
hear
right,
you.
perfect. Okay, so as you can see here now, so here's April 2021. This is the technical top. This is when the RSI was at the highest for that last cycle that we had right there. We see the price top up here in November of 2021, but we see the RSI on the weekly for Bitcoin is significantly less. This right here is a blaring indicator of bearish divergence. This is the first time in Bitcoin's history that this has ever occurred before. Now, if we look here in March of 2024, we have a top, but we have a local top. The high at the time was around $73,000, but we had a RSI high, a cycle high for the RSI around that same time. Where if we look in December of 2024, which is only 3 months ago, we had the price high of $109,000. But if you look at the RSI down here, it's significantly lower. So it's the exact same trend that we see back here in 2021 that we're seeing here in 2024. Now, again, back in 2021, this is the first time that this has ever occurred. Okay. Prior to this happening, the cycles had been what we had seen, up until this point. Now, what is different from this point right here? We have Ethereum that is bottomed 6 months prior to Bitcoin in 2022. All right. But nevertheless, we still see a bullish or a bearish divergence on the weekly RSI for Bitcoin on the weekly chart. So that that could be I'm going to stop sharing my screen right there. That could be anecdotal. What I'm saying right now could be absolutely nothing. It could just be a chink in the armor and everything else, going towards, the 4-year macro cycle, everything could still flow the same. But what I'm saying is the first time we ever saw that was in 2021, and we're seeing that now again right now. So that is setting off alarm bells for me right now. Where I differ, I will say this: Bob Lucas. All right, he's Jay talks about him. Charlie from Cultivate Crypto talks about him. Everybody talks about Bob Lucas as the 60 days, the 60-day cycle king. He still thinks that we are in a prime situation for a wave 5. Or for a going into the second half of 2025, having a large rally and into a bull market. I might not agree with that. What I'm saying is, look, I'm willing to eat crow here. If August, September, October rolls around and Bitcoin is in the $150,000, $160,000 range, I will gladly come on here and say, listen, I am an amateur. I am terrible. I still have work that I need to do. I'm willing to do that. But what I'm also saying is right now, we've seen a situation that happened in 2021. It is repeating right now. So that is cause for alarm for me. That's all I'm saying. Jay, if you guys are in the community chat, Jay has been talking about this more and more. Jay's our resident technical analyst on this. Z pops in from time to time as well. I've talked to Jay about this. Jay has some hair standing up on the back of his neck also, but certain indicators haven't hit for him. But as far as for me, that is a blaring indicator right there. That has never happened before. It happened in 2021. It's happening right now. So it'll be interesting to see where we end up 6 months from now. So that's all I'm saying.
Josh, I think look, anytime that an indicator shows something, it's something we need to have an antenna up and pay attention to. So thank you for bringing that to attention. The one thing that really stuck out to me as the difference was in 2021, it was a clear double top in addition to the bearish divergence, right? Like when you start to stack multiple chart and technical tech TA things together that start to give you more of a picture that things could be moving on the downward trend. That's at least two things right there that started to stack on top of each other. We haven't had a double top yet. We haven't had a head and shoulders. So at least right now, you're only showing some bearish divergence, right? And so I haven't seen anything else that has led me to say, okay, this bearish divergence is really something I need to worry about, or just something I need to keep an eye on. And is there another indicator that is going to start to confirm it for me, right? I don't see anything that's confirming it for me, and that gives me more hope.
That's what I love about this community is I could be completely wrong, but we're still a team. So that's just a vantage point that I have. It's just something to bring up to everybody else. Yeah. You know, if it's totally wrong, hey, I'll come on here and I'll say, hey, I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, absolutely. So that's just something that's something that I'm looking at right now. So just, hey, you know, keep that in the back of your head. As Jay would say, there's a bullish and there's a bearish case. Yep. So
can we bring Jay's comment up actually, Miss Producer? On the weekly, there's a strong argument structurally that the top is in. Clean wave 5 impulse, clean volume, price targets hit for each leg.
So in other words, everything is still healthy and good.
I don't know. Hold on. I interpret that differently. Pull that up again.
No, Jay's kind of giving some credence to what Josh
said. There's the top is in a clean wave 5, and now we're on the downside. Yeah, the clean wave 5 impulse volume and the price targets have hit, and now we're on the down slope. That's what Jay is saying right there. Now, could be completely wrong. You know, I'm not Bob Lucas. I'm not. I don't have all the answers. I could be completely wrong. This is just something that I've had in my mind. I've messaged Jay about from time to time. You know, it could be completely wrong. But again, we're in a situation that we haven't been in before. You know what I'm saying? This is brand new territory. So whatever's happening now has never happened again, has never happened in the past. And when it comes to Bitcoin, when it comes to the alts or anything like that, this is brand new territory. So we are all we're in a discovery period right now.
Yeah, it's a unique market. It's a unique time. We're going to say, Nate.
I'm just a peanut brain over here, okay? And I'm clearly not a chart guy. I don't do TA very well. However, I can, when I do look at a chart, sometimes I see things and I tend to put little data points of what was happening in the market at that time or what currently is happening in the market, right? And I can kind of like, because ultimately these charts, the red candles and green candles are literally just the emotions of human beings and people trading up and putting more money in or selling to pull dollars out. Ultimately, that's what these charts really are. And so you can find patterns, just human patterns of what's going on. Now, you said that bearish divergence, the first time crypto had ever seen it was the top of 2021, right?
Well, that was the first time that the Bitcoin weekly chart had ever shown a bearish divergence going into a discovery period of its all-time high. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So, in my opinion, I think they're two different viewpoints. If you were to go back in say 2017, right, and just before the large green candles took off, if you went down there and looked for the same type of bearish divergence on the weekly as you found currently, would you find the same thing? I would wonder. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the reason why I can tell you right now, the 4-year cycle was broken and or is different last cycle. The reason why was because Bitcoin went into its third-year curse. Now, the reason why I'm saying this here is not that, you know, the full 4-year cycle is completely broken, but something was definitely different. When you look at Bitcoin, it always had a blow off top, went back down, and then you had a lower high every single time except for last cycle. And then if you look at the percentage of the gains for that blow off top, it shrinks perfectly every single time to a percentage point that I don't have off the top of my head. I have it on my chart. But it has a percentage point that, technically speaking, if you put that gains percentage point, right, diminishing returns, Bitcoin should have had that blow off top and ended right around, I think it was like 94,000, which is still not the 100K, but a lot of
last
people
cycle?
think. What was that?
You're saying last cycle?
Last cycle. Yep, correct. Last cycle.
Well,
Now,
I can answer that for you when you're done. Yeah, finish what you're saying, but I can answer. We can look back at 2017. Absolutely, I have it pulled up. So once you're finished with that, if we want to take a look at it, we can definitely do that.
So my thesis then, or my theory, maybe I should say instead, is that what happened to make Bitcoin not hit its blow off top where it technically should have, comparative to the other cycles? Well, it was things like FTX selling in the background. It was things like China banning Bitcoin. Okay. The entire country had to sell it off. Like, that's ridiculous, by the way. There was a lot of macro things that happened that Bitcoin it kind of got wrecked by these gigantic governments and institutions. Well, currently, right now, we are in the institution or the ETF cycle, I should say. And so you have huge institutions and governments buying up more Bitcoin now. And so that divergence to me that you're seeing there says to me there's market manipulation going on by bigger players. And so when you're looking at that, and as you said, like with Jay as well, the hair stands up on the back of your heads, or maybe your beard, then that right there is technically you watching the market manipulation going, whoa, what are these guys doing over here? And I don't think we've topped, personally.
I hope not, man. I definitely hope not. If does anybody have the availability to pull up the screen share at all right now?
Yeah, she's pulling it up right now.
Producer.
Okay.
Yes, she can.
Gotcha. Perfect. So yeah. Okay, you guys got me, right? Sound check.
Check.
Can you guys hear me?
Check. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so here we are. We got let's see, where's the price blow off right here? Okay, here we go. All right, so we got December of 2017 right here. We can see an obvious price increase up to the blow off right here. And when it comes to the RSI, okay, hang on real quick. Nate might be onto something real quick right here. Let's see. We got a top right here. I mean, that's a slight increase on the RSI, but it's still an increase. I mean, you could say that it's pretty much neutral if you wanted to, but there is a slight increase right there. Either way, what we're not seeing is the obvious the obvious downward of the RSI that we saw right here.
No, but compared to how high it went up and how quickly, you'd almost expect that RSI to have gone up higher.
You could. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you definitely could. It's safe to say that when we get into the weekly for the Bitcoin, when the weekly Bitcoin RSI gets above that 80%, we're in a fucking high-ass territory for volume, right? We haven't seen double tops into the 80% since that 2017 timeframe. And what I mean by that is in 2021, with the exception of a little bit of a top right here, that 80% to 90% range that we saw, it only has touched it one time in the cycle in the past, and it's only touched it one time in the cycle that we're currently in right now. Now, obviously, this is anecdotal. Obviously, we're still in the middle of a cycle. What I'm saying could be total bullshit, right? But it's what we saw in 2021. Cycles rhyme. They don't repeat themselves, but they do rhyme. And what we're seeing right now is something that is rhyming with what we saw in 2021. So if nothing else, right? If nothing else, be patient. If you need to take a breath, maybe don't invest for a couple months. Maybe just sit back, sit on your positions, see where the market is in 6 months. That's all I'm saying. We could be in a situation where 6 months from now, Bitcoin could be at $160,000. Or we could be in a situation where Bitcoin is at $45,000. So if you're in a situation to where you are absolutely 1,000% bullish, do with it what you will. But if you're in a situation where you're like, wait a minute, this is new territory, this is uncharted territory, we haven't seen this before, something weird is happening, given the case that we have a strong quantitative tightening situation going on, the macroeconomics going on right now may not be ideal. Brendan can talk a little bit about that if we need to. But either way, whatever the case may be, if you need to pause on your investments for a little bit, that's totally fine. If you want to continue to invest, or if you want to sell, whatever the case may be, just make sure that you're comfortable with the positions that you're making. That's all we're saying.
Yeah, nothing that we say is financial advice, obviously. One other thing, Josh, that I don't want to say is I just want to say that it's a possible thing that we need to take into consideration, that the volume when we hit that RSI into the 80s in this in 2024, what did that line up with? That lined up with the ETFs coming into the market. So it's kind of very different. We had never seen that come into the market before, and it allowed for more volume than we've ever had before, without retail coming into the market yet, right? So it's very possible that that's almost like an indicator that is what it isn't what it normally would be.
You are 1,000% correct there. We have never had ETFs before in Bitcoin's history. You're 100% right. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying could be 100% bullshit. It could be totally wrong, right? But you're absolutely right. We are in a situation that we haven't seen before. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. We're in that sort of situation.
Yeah, Josh, no, I appreciate it. Like, I think we're all just pointing out potentials, right? Like, all of these are just like potential things, and we need to take them all into consideration. And as we get more information, it may push us into one of these ways or the other. Can we bring up KRJ Crypto's comment from just a second ago? So KRJ says, every 4 years, this is the bear trap pullback zone. Push it down to 74K at the lowest, massive support at 74K. The reason I want to bring up his chat is, one, to give him a shout out, because he has been very, very deep into the weeds, looking at the dev side of things when it comes to PDI. And in some of the chats that I'm in with him, he's been giving some really, really great alpha. And so I'm starting to sort of trust some of the things that he's looking at. So I thought that's interesting, and just another perspective for what we've been talking about. So that's pretty much all I have to say on this topic. Josh, really good information. Nate, Will, anything else you guys got? If not, we can hop on to anything else. And by the way, if anybody wants to hop into our show, this is a Whiskey Wednesday. Josh is only going to be here for a bit longer. So come have a drink with us. Don't have a drink with us, but come share your thoughts about anything. Richard ecosystem, Bitcoin, macroeconomics, Fed, SEC, Judge Peggy. Anything you guys got, just bring it on.
Yeah, no, the thing that I'm looking at is, and this is the way my mind works, is it's not necessarily the numbers and the charts, but like, hey, the institutions are definitely doing something, So as you said, Josh, this is the reason why we work so well together as a team, getting different angles and stuff, because, maybe my little peanut brain's like, hey, what about that thing over there? Right. And you guys are like, oh, I didn't even think to look at that. Meanwhile, you guys are like geniuses over here dealing with the charts and crap. And I'm like, oh, thank you for that information. That helps me a lot.
Hey, speaking that you said that, am I the only one on the panel tonight that has never had a PDI position?
I think so.
I think so. I've never had a PDI position. I've never screwed with it.
I'll just say that, yes, I had a PDI position, but it was extremely small. It was essentially a couple scratchers, which is almost nothing. Did I make a little bit of money on it? Sure, I did. I was actually in WBTC, much PWBTC, much earlier, before people were talking about it. So that's kind of where I made the most money off of the P tokens. PDI kind of just missed the boat, PDUSDC, all that kind of stuff. And once I kind of missed the boat, I'm not the type of person just to jump in. I'm like, it's fine. There'll be another coin, another opportunity. I'm more focused on the core coins. 95% of my portfolio are core coins: Richard Hart, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Sonic, a couple others. But very, very, very heavily invested in the Richard Hart ecosystem. And then maybe I have 5%, which are maybe even less than that now, because I've closed a lot of my scratcher tickets at the moment with, as we're the market going down, especially the Richard Hart ecosystem. I closed a lot of my small positions in scratchers. So I might even be higher than 95% on cores. But yeah, so
this is why our crypto community is unique as hell, and it's 1 in a million right here. I've never had a PDI position. I guess you guys have. There may be 1 or 2 other people on our team that haven't. I don't know. I might be the only one, but we have such a diverse sort of investment strategy, and we all come together, and it's phenomenal.
It really is actually quite different. That's where we, I think it was Jeff, Dace, you and I were talking about the whole thing in the chat. And, we got the conservative ones and we got the more degen side. You and me being, I think, and of course you will, I think we're more the degenerate side of the investors, where we'll go play around with the meme coins. Whereas a couple others, Josh, I know you're one of them, who are just kind of like, I think I'll just go to, Bitcoin, I'll go to Ethereum, just the blue chips. And I think I'll just sit in those. So yeah, it's it definitely is very diverse, especially with like the way that we think too. Everything that you're thinking about with like Bitcoin over there, Josh, it's comparative to like the video that I'm about to put out with how I made so much money on the P copies in general. And the way that I was thinking about it, there was no charting involved with that. It was almost 100% community consensus, as well as adding in a little bit of, hey, when's the best time to buy? Buying cheap and then selling high. I almost want to say that I was lucky, but this seems to be a pattern, and I think I've figured it out. And so, I mean, we can hop into that if we want to, or we could just, we could put that on the back burner.
You have another video coming out. I figure we'll just leave it for that personally. You already have one video too, but I would like to bring up Mr. Fast Abdul's comment. I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate that one bit. You know what's ruined the chain? I haven't seen enough dongs recently. That's what's ruining the chain. Vietnamese dongs. Like the dong.
You can't do dong anymore. You know that, right?
The currency.
Oh, that dong. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yes, the currency. Past Abdul, I'm not as degenerate as Nate. I've always had smaller positions in the pools. Now I did put a pretty fair sacrifice into one of your tokens at one point, and so that was nice, and I enjoyed that. That did me well. So I've always appreciated what you build, and I still got some meme coins out there, but yeah. So it's all good, but I'm only gonna go so much. How about you, Will? How you doing? You look like you're going in and out there a little bit with your.
Yeah, I missed the original question, but I think it was something along the lines of like, were you guys like, were we involved in the PDI stuff, and to what degree or something?
Josh was saying he thinks he's the only guy on this panel that never bought PDI.
Oh yeah, I got a little bit of it a while back, and then make money, lose money, make money. Ended up like after all my silly little PDI trades, I ended up more or less break even.
Well, you are breaking up a lot. You might need to shut your camera off, buddy. See if that helps at all.
Yeah, I think that would work out better.
I just shut off. How are we looking now? How are we sounding? We got better audio?
I'm hearing you better.
Okie dokie. No? I was basically just saying, yeah, I dabbled in the PDI, but it was never a significant portion of my portfolio. It was a fun scratcher that I rode and exited, did a little bit of day trading on, nothing fancy.
Speaking of riding and exiting, the Florida Derby, I don't know, have you guys ever been to a horse race before?
Like there's There's a fun thought.
Have you ever been?
I have not. No.
Never. No.
I've been to a shitload of NASCAR races, but never a horse race.
Aha. Okay. So this Saturday, I'll be going to the Florida Derby, which is one of the largest horse races in the world. It actually has the second largest purse for the winner of any horse race in the world. It used to be number one until Dubai was like, we want to be number one. But the winner of the Florida Derby goes to the Kentucky Derby. They get an automatic bid to the Kentucky Derby. So it's a big race, and it's fun, man. Like, I don't mean to change the subject, but like it's a lot of fun. And anyone's around Florida or anyone's ever around a track where you can go see a big horse race or even a small horse race, it's just good out there to go and, you know, have some drinks with friends, throw a few dollars down on some random horses and have some fun. I kind of see meme coins as the same way. Like, I don't mind going down to the track or going to a casino and throwing, you know, small amounts of money around that I'm okay with losing. I kind of see meme coins the same way. Like, I'm not going to put generally a large percentage of my portfolio towards them because I don't want to lose a large percentage of my portfolio. But I'm okay going there and having some fun, throwing around some small percentages. And if I lose it, I lose it. But if I hit a ticket, I hit a ticket, you know? Now I know a lot more about horse. I know a fair amount about horses and horse racing, just because of some friends and some history that I have. But it's so much fun to see those horses live, man. It's a lot of fun dressing up, putting the hats on. Maybe I need to look at a hat. Maybe we need a hat. Maybe we need a hat game tonight. But yeah, if you're ever going to chance to see the horses, it's a lot of fun.
Horses are meme coins. This is interesting. Oh, Josh has got his hat ready.
I'm just saying gambling. Well, I'm just saying essentially any type of gambling, you know, you have to be careful. And same thing with meme coins, right? Like you don't want to throw money that you can't lose at it.
Yeah,
Josh, I love how that hat's over your earmuffs there.
It looks like a batting helmet. That's what it looks like.
Is everything a meme coin? Like Bitcoin a meme coin?
Oh, not everything.
Oh, I was going to say I couldn't hear you for a second.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, like.
So you're talking about speculation, right? Well,
is the euro a meme coin? I'm having like the existential crisis moment where I'm asking like oh man, is it all just a big fucking fugazi? You know, like.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, it really truly is, Will. And that's the thing that people really they don't want to hear anymore is that Bitcoin started off as basically a meme coin. Hey, what's this magical internet money thing? You can't make money out of nothing. This isn't going to be worth anything. It's always going to go to zero. Does it even work? How do we know it's even going to work? That's what people were living through back in that day. 2011, 2012, all that. That's what they were living through, you know? It's the exact same fear and emotions that we currently have now. Only now we have the safety of what Bitcoin has succeeded in versus what these other coins trying to replicate and trying to do the same thing is now. So yes, you are correct that Bitcoin itself, the big mama pajama was a meme coin at one point in time.
Plus, you talk to Bitcoin maxes, they could say everything minus Bitcoin is a meme coin. You know, Ethereum, all the ERC20s, all the altcoins, you know, they're all meme coins as well. So it's really a relative question, but it is a good question.
Yeah, like I ask because I'm driving by a whole bunch of trees right now. And I love making tree houses. I love climbing trees. I love like chopping up firewood and everything. But there's other people that like don't give a shit about trees. And it's like, I value these things because I have these use cases for it and I enjoy doing this, that, or the other thing with it. And it's valuable to me. And other people like, I guess what it boils down to is like why do people value things? And what is the stuff they invest in? What's the stuff they put their money in? Like a meme coin is essentially a public bank account. You know, the more people put their money in this public bank account, the bigger the bank gets, and then they get to all celebrate together. And then eventually people start taking their money out of it, and then the bank account goes way low down. And you know, like I'm going through like some existential questioning right now. Like nothing like really depressing or whatever, but it's like, what's the reason for all of this? You know,
well,
it is fun.
Question?
Yeah, sure.
Is the US dollar also a meme coin?
Oh, 100%. 100%. And I can't
Everything's
control
a
it.
meme coin. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's value is only dictated by what people give it.
Yep. And right now, the rest of the world is scared of the U.S. Launching drone strikes and stealing their water, or not sending them like wheat or something. So
Or
they agree to use it.
Not sending their elites a lot of money that they're not giving to the people that need it. But that's in here or there. Not what we're talking about tonight. By the way,
yeah, I mean it's. Do we want to talk about like the macro stuff, like the tariffs and things? We had mentioned that before.
Well, let's do a. I think we should do another shout out because we're at a little past 9 o'clock, and then I think we have a couple people that might want to join. So, have we got any? Do we have any chat shout outs? I don't know if we have any chat shout outs. I think we got some.
We got
I cannot.
one, I do believe, because we do.
Farmer J says buy high and sell high. Well, let's hope buying high. Let's hope we go high. We have a few other people that
even spend time.
Fat Sammy, hi all. Might need the Fat Sammy on this stream here in a second. And then we did see Fast Abdul. He said that I ruined the chain. We already put that up there, but happy to have you there, buddy, as always. Dong bribes have been suspended until morale improves. I like it. We have a new chat, Psycho Crypto 23. Good morning, guys. Maria dumping Pulse now, big clips. Last night he was dumping his Atropa. Yes, Maria has been dumping PDI, Tropa, everything attached with Tropa. Apparently now Pulse. I have not seen that, not pulled that. And again, KRJ Crypto every 4 years. But interesting. So Psycho Crypto 23, if you have any data on that and you want to join the stream, we did put a link up there. Come into the green room and we'll get you in. Will, you mind if we bring in a couple people here?
Yeah, let's do it. It looks like the cameras have been rearranged. So, by the way, guys, I'm going through a nasty part of the desert right now, so my connection might cut out. So if it does, just take the wheel and direct the ship out. Awesome. Thanks,
Jesus,
bro.
take the wheel. Josh, you sticking
Jesus,
around?
take
You have
the
to
wheel.
run. What's your deal here?
Say that again.
I said, are you sticking around? Do you have a hard out? What's your plan?
I can hang out for probably another 10 or 15 minutes. It's fine.
All right, Mr. Baseball Cap.
It looks like a fucking hard hat, bro. You look like you're on a job site right now. Oh, aloha.
Hey,
KRJ.
Yo, KRG, what's up?
How you doing? Mic check. We good?
Perfect.
You are good.
Hey, you brought a hat, so congrats on that too. I see you're sponsored by Under Armour hat and shirt. Very nice. Wish I had a sponsor.
So we're talking TA today. That's kind of my thing. I've been burning through these charts, midnight oil on a daily basis. Bitcoin did just hit its 88K mark that I said it was going to hit. We still have till March 27th, which is tomorrow. I think we might get another pop back up to maybe around 88.2, 88.5.
Yeah, you were saying in the chat that it was. So what we're kind of going through right now is a bear fake out, right?
Yeah, the 4-year cycle. Actually, if you look at 4 years ago, we had a major pullback, but that's because 2021 it ran up way too fast. So that's where the biggest issue came is it almost hit the 1618 when it hit 60K, 65K, and then it got a major pullback all the way down to 25 before it shot back up and finally hit that 1618. If you have a TradingView, the paid version, they have an Elliott wave indicator on there now that you can use, and it shows you exactly where the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ends. The 1618 ends perfectly. So,
are you talking about during the crypto sell off or the COVID sell off?
Yeah. Yeah, because if you look at it every 4 years, there's going to be this red pullback right in the February timeframe. I was expecting it to start going up in February, but rewind this 8 years ago and what happened. We were looking at Trump in office 8 years ago. and we didn't actually start taking off until about July. So I would expect right now it looks like all the charts are a little early, about a month early. So I'm expecting that we're going to turn around somewhere maybe at the end of April, start of May. I'm hoping that's when I think we'll start to get. It all depends on when we get our Trump checks. That's when the money's going to start coming in.
That's it right
when
there.
They're all. I mean, all that money's going into crypto. All that money is going to be going towards the economy.
Hold on. I gotta push back on that. What makes you think that we're going to be getting any sort of money from Trump?
Well, that's just the news, right? That's the hopeism that everybody's got.
I 100% agree that it's hope, but there's nothing saying that we're gonna it's not like a stimulus check like we got in 2021.
Yeah, but I think if he brings in the tariffs, he's going to be able to give tax breaks to the US citizens, right? And then you've got the M2 money flow coming in. So I think you're going to get. Do you remember last time when he gave out like $5,000 checks? You're going to get that sort of stimulus coming up.
I mean, I get it. I get it. It makes sense to me. But what I'm saying is, I feel like you guys are planning on step D when we're on step A or B right now. So a lot of things have to happen in order for that to happen.
Well, when I'm looking at the charts, I'm just looking at what's priced in. So I think we're going to end up taking off based off of the 4-year cycle, based off the bear trap we're about to finish off. And you have I have actually a chart here if you want to pop it up.
So KRJ, right before you pop that up, I just want to introduce Fat Sammy as well, just so you both get a second. Thanks for joining, Sammy. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. Do you know, I don't tune into your show much, but I saw it pop up in one of the Telegram chats, and I thought, let's jump in. I saw KRG, who I work with a lot. So, really glad to be here. You guys were mentioning horse racing earlier. I'm a big fan of that. We had Cheltenham recently in England. We have like 2 big national horse races. So I played around with that one, made some money, bought some digital assets with the gains. And you mentioned tree planting. I'm a big advocate for that. I spend a lot of my time planting trees. I love birds. I love nature. So yeah. And this technical analysis. I mean, I do disagree with KRJ slightly. We tend to agree on our analysis. I don't believe his what was your call earlier, KRJ, 76K on Bitcoin? You said earlier. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to go down to 81K to 79K. We're going to get a final washout in the next 5 to 10 days. I'll be going along at that point. As long as the low from March 11th is not taken out, I believe that this will be the final higher low. And I feel like we're going to have a 3-month parabolic phase. And then I expect Ethereum to go above $5,000 within a 3-month period. And then I expect a lot of money to start flowing into Pulse Chain.
I do want to challenge you guys real quick. I want to make sure that on y'all's sort of your hypothesis here that it'll be the first time that the weekly RSI has shown bearish divergence and Bitcoin has broken through that during a cycle to exceed all-time highs. I just want to make sure that you guys are willing to stand behind that.
What time frame are you talking about this bearish divergence?
Yeah, so obviously, I don't know how much earlier in the show that you had tuned in. Obviously, we saw a bearish divergence on the weekly Bitcoin chart in 2021 that led to the sell-off period. We're seeing that exact same bearish divergence right now, right, on the weekly Bitcoin chart. So I hope you guys are right. I 100% hope you guys are right that Bitcoin will exceed its all-time highs that have already been established right now in the current cycle. But it will be the first time that Bitcoin has ever defeated its weekly bearish divergence on the weekly chart to exceed all-time highs in its current cycle.
KRJ, do you want to take that one or shall I?
Yeah, when you're looking at the bearish divergence, what time frame are you looking at?
Yeah, so just go ahead and take a look. So obviously, if you're looking at the weekly on the Bitcoin, so we can start in March of 2021. We had an RSI top.
Are you sharing a chart right now?
No, I mean I shared this like 45 minutes ago. So do you guys have your charts up there, or do I need to show it?
Yeah, we can bring up KRGs, right? Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, excellent.
Pull up the so the chart I have pulled up right over here is just the support and resistance. That's
Are you talking about
trading.
RSI bearish divergence? Are you referring to RSI?
I gotcha. If you guys want to let me share the chart real quick, go ahead and
Yeah, let's see what you got.
I can show exactly what you guys are talking about. What exactly I'm talking about.
I'm interested in that chart though. Once Josh finishes his.
Yeah. So here we go, right here, right? We'll zoom this in. We are on the Bitcoin US dollar weekly, correct? All right, so right here we have a technical top in March of 2021. We have a RSI top right here, March of 2021. We have the price top in November of 2021 with significant bearish divergence right here occurring, which led into the bear market of 2021 into 2022. What I'm saying is right now, we have a price right here in February 24 of $71,000 with a RSI top that occurred around the same time frame. We also have a new higher high and a brand new price discovery with a weekly RSI on a lower indicator right there in the same time frame, December of 2024. So I just want to make sure that you guys are willing to defend that this is going to be the first time that Bitcoin will be able to break through that weekly bearish divergence and not go into a bear market. That's all I wanted to make sure is that you guys were going to be willing to defend that sort of theory and that sort of hypothesis. Because it hasn't occurred before. So 2021 was the first time it happened. It's happening again right now, and we're starting to see that breakdown. So if you guys are willing to discuss new price highs, I just want to make sure you're willing to defend that sort of theory right there. That's all.
I think on that point is right. Collectively, like we're doing the investigation right now, and obviously I'm looking out for indicators like this, and I would say yes, there are bearish indicators at the moment, and there are bullish indicators. The major technical indicators I'm looking at the moment, which are let's ignore the fundamentals for a second, because actually let's cover the fundamentals first. So I think on that first bearish divergence, it happened in the start of 2021, right? And we did have a black swan event, being the COVID lockdowns at the time. So I think that was a fundamental shift in why that played out. So obviously, I think we're in that same situation here, and there are bearish indicators like that. So if let's say we do get bad indication on the tariffs, we don't get a ceasefire in Ukraine, we see escalation, in the US, we see further fallouts geopolitically. Of course, there could be black swan events or a cumulative effect where that plays out again. So yes, I'd say that is the bearish case for sure. Another bearish case is, we are looking pretty weak on the monthly candle chart. That's another reason why you could argue that we're bearish. But I would say I'm not confirmed bearish until we take out that March 11th candle, that bottom. But the reason I'm bullish is I would say the main reason would be the hash rate indicators on the Bitcoin. Have you guys checked that out? So that only fires if you type in a hash rate.
Yeah, they've been going up. They've been looking really strong recently.
So that's only triggered once before this year. So it's triggered about 20 times in Bitcoin's history. 18 times, yep. So you see that buy there. You got to go on the daily or the monthly. Yes, right. So that's triggered about 20 times in Bitcoin's history. Only 18 times, only 2 times out of the 20 has it not been positive, right? So the last time it clicked off, we went up 60% last year, and the time before that, we went up 150%. 154%, 157%, I believe it was. Now, usually there's about a 9-day delay on average. So usually what that indicator means is your local bottom's been hit, and 18 out of 20 times your previous bottom, which our March 11th candle there, is not taken out. So it's not a sure thing. But when we also bring in the M2 money supply, which we're assuming at the moment is on a lag of either 70 days to 110 days, I believe it is. That correlates with the KRJ's kind of hypotheses that we'll start to see money inflow at that period. So I would say what I'm looking for, a key point here is, do we create a higher low in the next week? If we confirm a higher low in the next week or 10 days, I'd say a week, I'd say less than that probably, then that will be enough for me to know that the cycle is not broken. Because fundamentally, if we don't see any black swan events, I think fundamentally we are going up. Like BlackRock's accumulating, all these institutions are accumulating. I just don't see us in a bear market at this point. But yes, I am aware that there are, I'd say we're 70% bullish right now when we're looking at indicators.
Yeah, my TA is a little different. I trade a lot off of support resistance, a lot of Fibonacci, a lot of Elliott waves, but I don't do divergence very much. It just was never a big part of my my TA. And the most powerful thing that I ever use is going to be the support resistance. And I start with the wick and the candle bodies, and you got 4 times a break, and we haven't retested this level. This is 74K. It's going to have to hit this line a couple of times if it's going to break down. So you have support, 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 support. This is also a bullish pennant right over here. So if this is a bullish pennant, we're going to be up here at the higher levels. 226 is what I currently got on this mark. So we've got some bullish sediment happening right over here, with this line being the line of defense. If we break that line, then we can start having a different conversation. I currently am inside of this trend line right over here, the 1, 2, 3, and then it's going to come over here 4 times a break. And I have multiple charts for Bitcoin for that reason. This is the other one I'm currently looking at. I've been playing out when I called the bottom, and I'm calling the top right over here at 88. This is a descending triangle, descending wedge right over here, which is inherently bullish.
Look where your E point is. Your E point there is the price target, 76,000, which you might wick down there, but I think if you wick past C, that'll be a fake out. That'll be the final fake out. So you might wick down past C, but I don't think we'll even get that low. I don't.
Well, hey, do you guys do Elliott waves? Do you guys believe in Elliott waves at all?
I mean, I think KRG is good at it. I prefer harmonics, but they're kind of similar. I do harmonics, but yeah, I respect them. But every time I follow someone that does the wave system, there's so many different outcomes. It's not very conclusive for me.
Okay. How about you, KRJ?
Yeah, I use Elliott wave, but
I got you. Can you run an Elliott wave on the macro right now? I'm curious what you come up with.
You want to do it on like the
from the bottom to where we are currently.
Let's pull up this one.
Yeah.
So you hit your 1618 right over here. You put your 0.25 right on top of this right over here, and then we should have a finished move. We can actually use that wick right over here. So we got good support resistance right over here at this level. So this is a confirmed top right over here for me based off the Elliott wave structure. Fibonacci structure in this case. I'm using the fibs, my custom fibs, where I put the 0.25. I put that right at the top of the first Elliott wave.
I got you.
This would be wave 1, wave 2. And then this would be the top of wave 3 because it's got to get past that 1618.
Mm-hmm.
And then you ride it up here. So are you looking at this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Because that doesn't.
No, I'm curious what you come up with.
Oh, yeah. I'm just going to take the throw the Elliott waves over here, and you're gonna have your pattern already set up for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if you want to zoom into the lower time frames, again, when I'm looking at my support and resistance, I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at this. This was resistance, resistance, resistance. Now this is your retest of support. You're going to end up coming down to somewhere around this area, I would assume, because of the measured move off of that. Plus,
which is
A, B, C, D down.
It's a 30% pullback from your B point, 30% pullback from the top, which we've seen many cycles. We've seen 30% pullbacks at this stage. This is nothing out of the ordinary.
Right. So this descending wedge is going to turn into a channel. So you can already bet this is going to turn into one of these right here. And you're going to get the next. It's going to get a little crowded when I start putting all this stuff on the chart. But after it comes down to here and hits this, it's going to get a breakout, and it's going to come up here, and it's going to come up here. So where's the breakout going to be? It's somewhere around here. But we got to get a lower high is what we're looking for. So I'm not going to expect it to come back down all the way down here. I'm thinking it's going to come down to about this level right over here, which is maybe 79. If it does play around for a little bit and it gets a lower high, then we got to get another higher low. So if we're actually stretching this all the way out down over here, then we're going to have to ride this out a little bit longer, get that higher low, and then start moving up from there. So, and we're looking at the April time frame, which is right here. April 2nd is when they're supposed to do all that tariff stuff, and that's right in the time zone of where we should be falling. So if we do get a fall back down, it's going to be because of that reason. And if we come down and hit this level right over here at that 74K, then that's going to be a confirmation of massive support level at that area because of the 4-year cycle and all those tops that it hit. And when it broke out right over here, it never came down and retested that. So that's where I'm at with the charts.
I got you. I think April 2nd is a good date to look forward to.
So back to the macro, you already had your wave 5 in. Is that correct? To the macro.
He's talking about the weekly chart that you had up, KJ.
Yeah.
The wave 5.
Yeah, right there. So how can it go up past the wave 5 on the Elliott wave right there?
It'd be a 5th wave extension if that's the case. That's
you're saying right now where we are, it still can extend past that wave 5. Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't. I like. Yeah, well, this would be the first set of 3 waves. So
that's the first completed wave.
Correct.
Yeah.
So let's just.
So if that took 3 years, how long do you expect the other 2 waves to take?
What are you talking about? 3 years.
So wave 1 started when? In 2022?
No.
When did wave 1 start on your Elliott wave sequence there on the macro?
Well, that he pulled from the full base.
Yeah. So again, if we go to the macro weekly, I'm just curious what the Elliott wave is on your macro weekly.
Let me turn off the logger with this so I can give you a better scenario on where we're at. Oh, holy cow, what did I do? So this was the top of wave 1. This is the bottom of wave 2. This was the first set of waves in this whole structure right over here. So this is, let me see if I can pull Elliott wave back up, if it'll do it for this one. I don't want a TA on the fly. I want to have these charts set up.
We appreciate you doing it live.
Yeah, no problem. So 2017, this is where Trump got into office. And then we rode that 2017 up. So this is where we started riding up. We got that pullback right around this area. And then that's where we started riding up. So we're looking at the July timeframe on this chart. So this is the area that we're currently in right now. So we should be riding that up.
And see, Josh, when I was talking earlier about that bearish divergence, that would be the area to check to see if there's a bearish divergence on that spot.
But you guys aren't answering my question. Go to the current cycle, the current 4-year cycle that we're in right now. We had a low in November of 2022. From right there, what is the Elliott macro wave count where we are right now? Is that it right there? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how can wave 5 exceed past where that is, given that current Elliott wave right now?
I don't know. I'm basing this off of support and resistance. So
okay, gotcha.
I'm not an Elliott wave master, but I'm following it based off the Fibonacci's.
Okay.
All right, so Josh, are you trying to say that basically this is the beginning of the bear?
I'm trying to say that if you look at a couple different indicators, we've had a clear wave 1 through 5 established that is showing on the chart right there. Plus, we're showing the weekly bearish divergence on the week, on the weekly, as I've said, which was shown in the last cycle. There are indicators that we are starting on a downward trend, and I'm curious how that now what I'm saying I hope is wrong. Let me preface that right now. I hope what you guys are saying, where we blow past 107 and we get up into the 120s, 150s, 170s, 200,000, I hope that happens. But what I'm asking is, can you explain it to where it makes sense to me? Because what I'm seeing versus what is going on the chart, I'm not seeing how that can be the case.
Right. So what you're
with
saying
one indicator, right? You're just talking about just Elliott wave, so right.
We're going Elliott wave.
Wouldn't there be a 3-wave scenario rather than the 5-wave scenario you could look at as well?
Correct. So what you're saying, this is cycle 1, or this is going to be cycle 2. So right now you got your Elliott wave or your Fibonacci from the bottom of here to the bottom of here. This is going to be wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. So this should be the end of the this cycle, and then it should be coming back down, and then it should be running up again. So I'm on
correct
stream.
So I don't understand. Yeah. So if you go right there, that's the bottom. Go back down to the bottom right there. So then we go up to around 30,000. That would be wave 1. Correct. That would be wave 1.
You can count that as wave 1, yeah.
Okay, and then it would retract to wave 2, coming down to around, what is that? I don't know, 25,000 ish, in that range, right around there.
Yeah, so this would be wave 1.
Then wave 2 would go up to 70, a little over 70. Wave 4 would come to around 50, and then wave 5 would be the 107. So again, I just try to explain how we get past this on a, and if y'all want to say, you know what, Elliott wave, it just doesn't do it, then that's totally fine. But if you use Elliott waves, Elliott wave has to be taken into account in this scenario. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I can come back with you an answer on that. So I'm not
sure.
He's saying that's not his main things that he's looking at. So I think it's hard for him to answer those questions.
Sure.
That's a fair question, Josh.
Here's something that I wanted to take into effect. There's been a change as of last year, January of 2024, where the currencies have actually changed direction. So we used to be opposite correlation. We used to be an opposite correlation for the DXY used to be opposite of BTC, and that's currently changed. When we look at the actual markets now, when we look at the yen is actually the yen, the pound, and the ruble are all trading they're trading against opposite correlation as Bitcoin, whereas Bitcoin is now trading the same thing as the DXY. So we're following that same direction, which changed a year ago back here, which would have been January 2024. So when I plugged that into ChatGPT, it said it was because of the ETFs and everything else that we're doing here in the United States.
I was literally just going to say that.
Yeah. So after doing all that research, because I was trying to think in my head, because I was using this as an indicator on us using that as a good TA to be able to trade the opposite direction. So I'm looking at these charts and they're not working anymore. as of last year. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to use this technical analysis anymore. And then when I started thinking about it, I pulled up all the different currencies and I said, why is Bitcoin trading the same way as DXY now? That doesn't make any sense. So then I put together my history chart, which is the Bitcoin. I think it's this one. Maybe it's this one. It's this one. Sorry, it's going to be a little too much for you to look at here. This actually isn't the right chart.
This looks like one of those charts where someone's trying to explain aliens.
Yeah, what I did was I took
right.
It's like that Always Sunny in Philadelphia chart where he's standing there. And he's the chart. It's in that one.
There's just too much going on to be able to explain. But basically, what I did was I took the DXY chart. And then I took when Bitcoin started, when 9/11 started, when Mt. Gox was hacked, when Ukraine went into the war against Russia, and that happened. And there was a bunch of interesting correlations between all of this stuff. And when I was looking at the charts, I noticed that this isn't the right chart I'm looking at. But if you pull up this level right over here, which is where Bitcoin should be right now, when Trump was in office, it should be the same time frame right over here. So I'm trying to follow the same time frame on when Bitcoin started to go up. However, Bitcoin direction has changed. If we end up falling, then the DXY falls in this particular case. If we're looking at the this chart right here. So if the DXY continues to fall, Bitcoin should continue to fall if these stay correlated. Do you think that the DXY is going to currently drop? I think we're going to get a lot more since Trump is in office, hopefully, with all this stuff that's going on, and we get some more power to the DXY, and the dollar strengthens. Is that possible? I don't know. I know that right now you're looking at the ruble, which trades opposite, and we're about to get a breakdown. This is 1, 2, 3, hasn't broke yet, not confirmed yet. But if this starts to break down, Bitcoin should be going up. And it's currently breaking to the upside right now, according to this. If you put a simple trend line right over here, you're already getting a breakup. So it's already starting to confirm on different charts the direction on which way it's going. So you can see the pound is about to break down and drop. The yen is already broke down. And BTC seems to be now going to the upside. And this is a pretty decent chart. So if we continue to get a ride up, I think we're going to get a really small pullback, and then we're going to get a run. So that's the correlation I'm trying to make with all these different charts and assets, and because we're physically trading cash for crypto right now. So you have to use that in your analysis.
Hey, just real quick, guys. KRJ, Sammy, it was good meeting you guys. I'm about to hop off. Being Nate, I'll catch you guys later. It was a pleasure hanging out with you guys.
Great.
So you guys have a good night. I'm going to go ahead and
nice
off.
to meet you guys. Really nice to meet you guys.
Absolutely. You guys keep going. I just got to pop off. It's a time thing. But, yeah, it was a blast. So look forward to streaming with you guys again, all right?
Thanks, Josh.
All right. See you guys.
Yeah, Josh. Thanks a bunch.
So
Josh has got me thinking about those Elliott waves, man. I definitely want to go away and have a look at the argument.
I will too, and I have indicators that I don't even use, but a lot of those things that I use, divergence, these are all indicators I created. I can even start popping some of these up and start using those as tools. But lately, I've been so busy working on building projects and trying to manage my tokens and all this other stuff that trading has not been in my my to-do list.
Let's be honest. You've only been arguing about PDI for the last 3 weeks, like everybody else in this ecosystem.
Oh my gosh, I'm so bored of that now. It's honestly
pissing me off. I almost deleted my X.
Oh my gosh, it's like I did that thing where I just banned PDI so it doesn't pop up in my timeline. I took a break from it,
Yeah, I'm right.
Because I didn't want to hate on people, and I was like, don't hate on people. But every time it pops up, I had to start hating on people.
I'm not going to name any names, but there's some people that I've lost a lot of respect for.
All I'm saying is hex to $1. That should be the narrative. Hex to $1.
Why are we focused on the cores? Come on,
exactly, guys.
We have
Come
so
on.
many great coins that are built here. Why are we worried about these copies that are broken? Let's focus our energy on things that have been built that are great.
Exactly, sir.
Exactly. Even if the peg did happen, the whole point of the peg was to buy the cores anyway. That was the whole
never
point.
happened.
You
But I
didn't
just
care.
be careful. Every time I mention the 4-letter PDI, I lose followers. So I obviously piss a lot of people off.
Yeah, we should look. It's been a divisive topic. I actually liked Speed Eye when it was just a meme coin. Once we started getting to this fake narrative of pegging, which I knew was never a possibility, that's where I started to lose interest. When people started to get crazy recently, that's really when it went way over the top. I don't want to get into the weeds on PDI. I really like to get past this and get to the next point of where we are in Pulse Chain, which is hopefully working together on building things and growing tokens that have one use cases and two great immutable code.
Yeah.
And I think one good thing is that, look, I think we're kind of getting through that stage now about the PDI thing. Like, obviously, we all kind of had a bit of an argument about it. I think the important thing is obviously, we had it with Pulse Bitcoin when we had our whales dump. We didn't have an exploit. We had a similar thing. Lots of projects have had it. When you have a bit of FUD and your project takes a nosedive, you've put so much work into something that obviously you get upset and you don't want to accept, that it's gone to shit. But I think the only thing I think with PDI is mathematically it didn't make sense to a lot of people a lot smarter than me. I listened to those people, but I did play the game, and I think that the narrative got so strong that a lot of that narrative was built on the kind of foreshadowing that Richard Hart was pulling the strings behind the scene that was part of the plan. And I think the reason they lost respect, not because of the exploit, was because of the fact that I think some of the more powerful people in that community were aware that Richard was nothing to do with it.
Yes.
And they allowed that kind of false narrative to continue. And then when an exploit was noticed, they tried to cover it up. So I think those two actions is what kind of pissed off the community. And I think we ended up taking out on each other. It's not a personal thing. I hope those people, get their money back. And I understand they're launching a second version of it. But good luck.
Let's not get into that because that's something crazy altogether.
Yeah, that's a rinse and
I
repeat.
think you're right. A lot of what you said there.
Yeah, that's a rinse and repeat, man.
Hex to $1. That's what I say. Hex to $1.
Hex to $1. Look, that's less than a 2x from before. Even if we just put combined hex, or like, fine, combined hex to $1. I'm fine with that. Even like.
Yeah, and I was really worried about Atropa. I'm really hoping that they've removed their liquidity from WPLS because did you know that the Pulse Chain copy of USDC has $10 million worth of liquidity tied up with Atropa as well?
I do. It's crazy. It's like all of these are connected far too deeply. Like the root system with PDAG goes far too deep, and I don't know
even wrapped BTC on Pulse Chain has potential issues. It has the same.
Yeah, it has a potential. It has a potential keys as well. Potential issue.
I think we were pretty okay, but I think that all this PDI thing just opened Pandora's box because there's a dozen plus people I know of that are actively going through not just PDI's contract, but everybody else's contract as well. On top of that, you have Grok now, which is very, very smart. It can make smart contracts. It can tell you vulnerabilities. We got a brand new Explorer for Pulse Chain that just came out. That's pretty cool because you can actually type in the contract and it will go through everything in the contract. It'll tell you what it does. So really cool what Pulse Coin's doing. These are the tools that we needed. If this PDI thing didn't happen, all these people wouldn't have got together in the room. We had B Roots in there. We had Almighty in there. We had
Maddie.
Almighty. Yeah, Maddie.
Yeah, Fire Whale. Like literally everybody was getting in there.
There was so many people in there, and it was to the point where we were kind of poking fun at each other all the time about all the different projects and the things that happened over the years. And when something tragic happens in your life, you always say you're going to laugh at that again someday, and that's what it was. So I'm really happy to see that I got to meet a lot of these people, but that these whales that didn't know each other just from the projects, and then they just kind of did their own thing, were able to all collectively come together. So that's what gives Pulse Chain its value.
Yeah, and also look what happened in the last day, right? Everyone came together over this Rabbi thing. We have made. I'm so proud of our community that we've all come together to protest this Rabbi decision, and we just this is where we show our strength as a community. When the time comes, we do pull together, and hopefully this PDI stuff is we move on from it and we focus on just pulling together when we need to, and hopefully the bottom's in. Hopefully KRJ and I are right about this macro move, and we start moving up in April, the next 2 weeks. And then I think all this will be long forgotten because we'll be making so much money. We'll be happy again.
I'd like to just add something really quickly there. So, I think one of the biggest issues with PDI, even more outside of the people pushing it after the exploit, is that these people have been extracting money out of PDI for a long time. And what are they doing? It's not like they're selling PDI into DAI and then into Pulse, right? No, they're selling PDI into DAI and then taking it off chain. So we're talking about tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars every time we have a run up being extracted off chain because of this. I won't call it an exploit, even though the code is being run properly, just a poor Oracle and other issues behind the scenes. It's just a broken code. So it's still an exploit in my mind, but technically the code's still running as the code thinks it should be running.
Yeah, you count that as an exploit.
Yeah, you can call it whatever you want, but in my sense, I'll still call it an exploit. But because they've been extracting so much money off chain, every time we've had a pump up, they're saying, okay, look, PDI price goes up, we take money out. It's been suppressing price. It really has been one of the biggest suppression of price on the Pulse chain for this last, which I didn't know until recently, probably for the last 6 months minimum. And until we get through that, I don't see a lot of positive. However, I still see huge positive in the ecosystem because we still have a great community. We still have a great opportunity. We still have great products. I mean, everything is there for us to moon. So
I'll tell you one thing, you're going to be so grateful in a month's time that it happened now rather than when we're pumping. If this happened after ETH started going up, oh my gosh, it would have been terrible. So we are so lucky on the timing of this. And we
said the same thing with Rackham, right? Rackham selling his bags. I'd rather him sell them now than when we're moving up, right? Same thing with Bank X, right? Like their sell wall is almost gone. Anyway, I didn't mean to move it away, but Internet Money Wallet is also phenomenal. Built by Pulse Chain for Pulse Chain. So if Rabbi continues their deintegration of Pulse Chain, I love Internet Money Wallet. I don't have anything connected to them, but KG's been on our channel before. We might have him on again soon, just to have people talk about it in case they're upset with Rabbi. Look, did you guys see that Rabbi said that they're going to support Duck Chain today, which no one has ever even heard of, but they're deintegrating Pulse Chain? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but also I got some new information. I'm not sure if it's been verified, but that warning signal that comes up, that's just disappeared about 3 hours ago. So about Pulse Chain being delisted. So if that's the case, indication they may have taken a step back here. I think they might have taken a step back here. Well, I think someone's got that message internally, and they're probably having a discussion about it now.
How many people commented? I saw like hundreds, maybe thousands of comments from the Pulse community. And Sammy, that's exactly what you said, right? It's like this is what makes us strong. We come together when it matters.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is just a black eye. It's not. There's no way around it. This is this extraction that happened. They took so much money off the chain. We got Richard Hart, who's the fearless leader, who is on the verge of going to jail. You have all these like the most terrible events that you can happen, and we still got these whales and everybody sitting around in groups laughing and having a good time. They don't care, right? Because we're still confident that the chain's not dead. There's nothing wrong with the chain. It was all the extra pieces. So now we move past all the meme coins that are going to die out, these coins that are going to die out. We have AI coins that are now going to be the new generation of things. There's going to be new NFT stuff that comes out. The 404s are out there. This chain is ready to rock and roll. And I'm trying to bring new things to the chain where people haven't played with, like augmented reality, 3D things. And I'm doing mocap with characters right now. I'm currently in the middle of creating a game. It's a Call of Duty style game where I'm taking the meme characters, making them 3D from all the different projects. We'll have a PDI one that'll be the enemy, and we're going to put them in the game, and then we get to shoot each other. You know, these are the kind of things that we're going to do. But I'm not just creating a game. I realize now that I've started my own token, Teddy Bear, that you need a community, you need engagement, you need something to do. Instead of just people saying, "Well, here's a coin, go ahead and buy it, sell it." That's the end of it. Or, you know, put it in the staking pool and get some money. The only thing they're going to do is sell off the other coin and drain the liquidity of some other project. So I'm always preaching, let's find a way to find organic liquidity, bring it in the market, and then figure out how to incorporate it in. So that's what my game does. SolidX does the same thing. So the game is going to bring in, you know, in-game assets where you can buy stuff, but you're not buying it with crypto. You're going to buy it with cash. So if people are going in the game and buying stuff, that's going to be liquidity that comes in. There's going to be advertisements, and all that money that comes into there is going to go right into my project. So I can literally take a couple $100 worth of tokens and I can give them out for free to anybody, and it's not going to hurt my chart because they're not selling off the liquidity that's in the chart. They're selling off the money that I've brought in. I'm not paying myself. I'm putting it into the project like you do a business. You know, if you have a business that you start and then you have a stock, you have to pay your shareholders. Your business is making money and you put money back into the system for that purpose. So if we start thinking like that, then this chain is going to grow. If we can find other ways to be able to push these narratives forward, instead of just trading from this shiny thing to this shiny thing, that's where we're going to get the attention. I think games are going to be the next thing that we're going to look at. Sui's doing a good job with that, and I think I'm going to follow their lead.
Yeah,
I like that. What's this chart that you have up, KJ? What do you want to say here? Is there something specifically you want to say about this?
This is Pulse Chain, and I'm going to say the bottom is in. Bottom is in. We're looking at a higher low. We're currently starting out with a basically.
Can you zoom in on that a little bit for the people at home?
Yeah. So this is going to be your bull trend. You finally broke out for the first time. You might be coming up with a. You need a higher low, no matter how you look at it, before you can even start a bull run. So we need to get some Elliott waves trading back up here before we can start to confirm anything. But right now, this is the lowest high. So we need to start making higher lows and then continue up from here. This right here is SAC rate. So you can see how far down we are from SAC rate from when we started. It's a huge downfall. That should not be where we were. If this exploit didn't happen, we'd be up in this area for sure, because it was 20 million that got taken out of the system.
Yeah,
so
crazy.
10 million to this, not including all the burns that happened with the token. Right, over 2 years, there's been a lot of burning that's been happening with the token. So the availability has dropped significantly as well. People locking up LP, burning LP. So these are things that are huge for Pulse Chain that people don't even realize. On top of that, there is currently still value in those P copies from 2 years ago. So now if you tell somebody, hey, come over to Pulse Chain, you got some free copies, they can literally come over here and sell them off right away. So if we have a token like King and Queen Pui, for example, they have women that are actually going out and trying to get other people in. And if you hold some of these tokens like Queen Pui, for example, you're going to get free pulse just by holding the token. So these are great metrics for onboarding new people. So I'm going to promote those like crazy, because if I can get tokens like that in these people's hands and giveaways or whatever it is, I got to buy it out of pocket, do it on stream. They're going to earn gas just to play on the chain, not to mention the tokens that they don't know how to use. So it's going to be a learning curve for them. So that's what we need to focus here on the next couple months while we're still in this run.
You're right, KLG. At the moment, the simple fact is that onboarding has pretty much ceased at this point for Pulse Chain. As hexagons, before Pulse Chain existed, we've spent the last 4 years, is it, guys? Pretty much onboarding our friends, family, either into Hex or into Pulse Chain, into Sacrifice, and then into whatever else. And pretty much all of our people that we have onboarded as a community have pretty much been wrecked. So it's very hard for us to go back to the same people where they say, oh, I'm 5x down, or I'm 50% down, or whatever it might be. It's very hard for us to go with a serious face and say to them, don't worry, guys, it's all part of the plan. You know, give me some money again.
Yeah.
They're not going to buy it. So KRG's right. Obviously, it's good that we are bringing fresh people in. And now the ironic thing is, now is the best time where we should be onboarding people because we are actually so down. It's the safest point. You know, we're pretty much at an ice line. Like KRG might say, look, Pulse has bottomed. I think there is going to be a dip, so it might be a scan week down. But I think pretty much, yes, I agree, we have bottomed. So now is the best time to onboard people into Pulse Chain. But the problem is, we've all run out of credit. Because they go, aren't you the Pulse Chain guys? Aren't you wrecked? You go, yeah, but this time it's different, you know. So I think at this point we have to kind of get our shit together. We've got some really good development going on. We're tidying up our chain. We're taking out the trash. All the grifters were gotten rid of pretty early. You know, all the exploiters. I think this is a natural kind of cleaning process we're doing. We're cleaning house, and thank God we've got all this shit out the way now, rather than in the next move up.
Yeah.
So, I just don't think onboarding is realistic at this point. I think what's really realistic is the real value from Pulse Chain in the future will be the people, the whales in our community that have money on ETH, have money outside of Pulse Chain, running up and then bringing that money back to the chain, providing some green candles for us to onboard again, because at the moment it's impossible to onboard. Oh, Frank's here. Welcome, Frank. Good to see you.
Hey, Frank, how you doing?
Hey, everybody. Pretty good. How about you?
Good.
I'm a little late, so I'm not tuned into the conversation. I've been traveling all day, and I just finally jumped on. So glad to be here.
Oh, don't worry about that. We're about to go into chat shoutouts and welcome everybody else who's been hopping into our stream. So, yeah, was that all that you had to say there, Sammy?
What was that? Yeah, that was pretty much what I was going to say. Just to recap, Frank, we've just been looking at the macro. We were looking at the Bitcoin chart earlier, kind of discussing whether we think we're in bear or bull. KRJ and I are pretty bullish. We think the bottom's pretty much coming in. I think it's already been printed. KRG thinks it might come next week, but I think we're pretty much at the bottom. And then obviously we covered PDI. I think what else are we talking about, guys?
We barely touched on PDI. We tried not to touch on it. Just came up.
Yeah, we're trying. Everyone's bored of it now. It's a dead subject. Let's not talk about that one.
Yeah, skip that.
You know how I know the bottom's in? Because last Friday I was on a group call with about 5 crypto buddies, and I forgot to. We were on a Zoom call, and I forgot to hide my self view and mute my button, and I was so disheveled because I was coming in from another state, different time zone, and I was getting in the shower. And they're like, "Whoa, Frank, turn your camera off." And one of the guys goes, "Well, the bottom's in."
So, there you go.
Probably literally, we had to see your bottom to know the bottom was in.
So yeah, literally. So it's all good.
So real quick before we get into this, I do got something to say about how and why I think the bottom is in as well. And it's simply because, number one, this is basically the darkest time for Pulse Chain itself, right? As soon as all this started happening over the weekend, I was telling everybody in our Telegram, hey, before I go making a decision on what we're going to do here or what I'm going to do, I'm going to wait over the weekend. Well, by the time we come back into Monday, it's like everybody's in the dumps and people arguing. It's just bad time, right? And so because of that alone, I can say, okay, based on my radar of the video that I made where I'm talking about, hey, buying the blood, things like that, that's when things are at their lowest, their cheapest. That was at that time. It's making my alarms go off. And when you think about it with PDI, all of the liquidity that is bonded with it, as soon as everybody starts selling it off, including the OA, right? Well, that's going to make everything drop. Everything. Now, obviously, some things more than others, but it's still going to cause just about everything to drop. Now that people are starting to kind of turn around, and by the way, it was Friday, I said in Telegram, time for a redemption arc. I very specifically said that because I think what's going to be happening now is that not only number one are we at the bottom, but then number two, everything is so low and everybody's expectations are so low, and we're just now starting to heal and recover from that. There's no choice or nowhere else to go but up from here, unless we die. And quite frankly, I don't think we are going to die.
I mean, I would say look at ETH chart right now. You know, why is the ETH chart so low against Bitcoin? Right? You've had a huge consolidation and a huge underperformance this cycle with ETH, right? It's a kind of larger scale of what's going on with Pulse. They're scaling and bringing on users, basically screwed their fees and made the price go low. And we had the same problem with the distribution model of the launch of Pulse Chain. They were so desperate to get investors in that they offered whales, Hex whales, massive leverages to get in at a cheap rate. So obviously those people have got to be paid before we can move forward. So it's a very similar situation. But I think we are so oversold now and have so many bullish dynamics on the macro coming through.
I think we got to wait for the tariffs.
We are at the lowest risk entry point possible on the market right now.
Yeah, I agree.
At least for Pulse Chain.
No, for Ethereum and Pulse Chain. Because they are connected.
Agreed.
As soon as
Ethereum
it moves up, Pulse is going to move up. It's going to be at the same time.
Ethereum is far undervalued currently, so it looks like a good time to buy it.
Absolutely.
I was listening
Institutions are loading up. Sorry, go on, Frank.
Yeah,
I was listening to a Token Metrics stream today with Ian Bellina, and it turned to a bull flag in Bitcoin. So like they have little red, green it turned green for Bitcoin in the last couple of days. So that's a good sign. And look, other chains are not doing well right now. Other projects are not doing well right now. But I have seen like a little bit of a rounding bottom in some of these, even not quite a V, but in a lot of really good coins outside of the ecosystem that are at bottom and heading up. So it's not just, look, I think because of who we are as a community, we take it upon ourselves to be responsible and to make it mean something about us, that not make it mean something about us, but like we take it, we are like, oh, it's only our chain.
We take it personally. We take it
personally. But it's everywhere, And so, all we can do is just keep trudging along. And nobody said this was essentially going to be easy. And I'm still, in my mind, thinking, September, October, November is when we're going to look at a top, maybe an extended cycle. So, it is what it is.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get some chat shout outs rolling. I know we don't have Will here with his amazing sign that he always makes, that he always slaps in front of the camera like this, but we will go ahead and go through these. So first up, we got Crypto Class saying hello with the heart, and she had to run away earlier. So thank you very much, Crypto Class, for coming on here, actually helping out some people in the chat with some questions that they had. We do really appreciate that. However, the next one, Kay Hudson, he actually has a question, and I think we could probably answer this one here. So what ecosystems are decentralized? Is decentralization essential or no? What is at stake? I don't know. You guys think that decentralization is at least slightly important?
Yeah, well, I've got a good one for this. So this is a microcosm question which we have in our community, and it's everyone wants to be decentralized, but again,
no one is.
You still have to have. It's like even Bitcoin, right? It has Michael Saylor. It has a few whales that hold it together at the start. You have to have either one person or a group of people that are holding majority of supply that have reason not to sell. Then other people can jump on the back of it and then disperse those tokens, or people can die and those tokens never reach market, so that you essentially have a burn function. That has to happen on any chain. So I don't think Pulse Chain is decentralized. It's on a decentralized network, it's on ETH. It's traded by a decentralized user-based liquidity, user-based validation. But is its central token distribution decentralized? No, not yet. But I think you can't just go free for all decentralization, because otherwise nothing will happen.
Yeah, amen.
I love what decentralization means. I love what its mission is. One of the reasons that I like Pulse Chain and Hex and Richard Hart ecosystem is that pretty much one person holds most of the supply, and I don't expect him to sell. So outside of him, the ecosystem is pretty much decentralized, right? It's immutable code, can't be changed, buy burn, like you can't change anything. Like, look what just happened with why is my brain not working? Oh, maybe it's the gin.
Canada is the one that's usually used. You know,
it's the alcohol. I've only been on like 5 minutes. I haven't even had a full drink. You guys have been, whiskey and Wednesday. And
I'm on the red wine.
Crow.
A little bit of Coca-Cola. I think they do this in Spain. I'm not sure.
So Crow. Sorry, I was talking about Crow, where they rolled back all of the tokens they burned. It's like, I want code to be immutable, code that can't be changed even by a MakerDAO vote or anything. So even though we might have Richard Hart, he can't roll back the code. He can't change the code. The code's immutable. So that's something for me that is super important for decentralization. It's like the code to me is a decentralized part of our ecosystem, even though we have one important person that holds a lot of coins that I happen to trust a lot. The code is really strong. And so when I think decentralization, I think of two different sides of it. I think the code, and I think about who's holding the coins.
It's an experiment in community banking is what it is. It's going back to what early banking was. Like Germany is a good example. There's a word for it called the Mischergang or something. But their economy is largely made up of small businesses, and they have local banks that loan locally. It's something we used to have in a lot of Western countries. You'd get to know your bank manager. You'd go and tell him your business plan. You'd go and you'd take a personalized risk on your character, your family history, your previous business experience, and then would decide to give you a loan. And I think that's kind of pretty much what we're doing. When we talk about decentralization, we're talking about community banking. Someone has to pay for it. Someone has to credit it. Someone has to loan. And that's what we're experimenting with. And we're learning that it's a tough road because you still need a central core of people with money to make decisions. So you can be decentralized, but it's very hard to organize if you're too decentralized.
Yeah, the one thing that's extremely important to understand about decentralization, though, is the fact that it is the computers that you don't need to worry about the intentions of the human being that have the nodes everywhere running the actual chain. And that's one of the most important things about decentralization, because otherwise what you have, those nodes otherwise are other people. People get greedy. People want more money, right? And then they start siphoning that money from you, ultimately. And that's the reason why decentralization for a protocol or a blockchain is so vitally important. With that being said, though,
can we finish these chat shoutouts? Because I want to say something that's important after that.
Sounds good. All right, so then we got Luna. Luna C Point, who says, "Hey gang," with the heart. Yep, right there. Just that one's for you. And then we got Crypto Sloth going, yo, Sloth.
Oh, shout out to Crypto Sloth. Thanks for coming.
I love the Sloth.
Slothy always tries to check out our streams.
He's lazy. That guy is truly lazy.
Oh, he's amazing, man. He's a background guy that does a lot of work for a lot of communities. I love him.
He's incredible.
He's kind of like the community. It's kind of like crypto right now. The paradox of he's a doctor, a dentist, and he's got a lazy token. He's a sloth. Like, I don't see the correlation, but
there's nothing lazy about him, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
love it. And then we got Fox Mulder, who's Maria rugged the Tropa. Yikes.
Well, Maria's rugging more right now. That's what we're about to talk about.
Yeah, Maria looks like it is leaving the blockchain entirely.
Yeah,
so
dumping pulse right now.
Yeah. Maria. So I'll let the cat back. Maria is literally selling all Pulse right now.
Let's all give him a wave. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Good riddance. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
And then Johnny Chaos comes in and very well said, sir. No one gives a duck.
That's what I was talking about, the duck chain that got replaced on Rappy Wallet instead of Pulse.
It just
chain.
happened those two line up.
Is that the real Johnny Chaos?
Perfect.
Yes, he's our buddy. Yeah.
Oh, good to see you, Johnny.
Johnny boy. Man, you scared me when you were getting off of Twitter. Come on, man. Don't do that to me again. Hey guys, sorry. Okay, so Moonpilled here says, "Hey guys, sorry I missed the stream. I will be on Replay Gang, and this is a shout out to you, man. Thank you very much for watching every single freaking time we are streaming. We appreciate you a lot." And then we got the Clintrons.
Yes,
what's good,
Clintrons,
D-Gens?
Mr. and Mrs.
Mr. and Mrs. Excellent. What's good, D-Gens? What's good with you?
Good to see you. So that's the end of chat shout out. So yeah, so Maria looks like he's she, I don't know, exiting the ecosystem. And between PDI and the troll, in connecting all of that to Pulse Chain, it's been a super negative with all the exploits.
But can I just say this, right? So we're talking about decentralization. Let's bring it back to that. One of my biggest criticisms we had the 2007-2008 banking crisis, right? We all remember that. And as a free market capitalist, a true free market capitalist, I believe the way out of that solution was that we did not bail out. So the reason we went through such a long and hard period after that is because our governments decided to bail out failing businesses.
Yep.
So it's the same way as if Richard Hart came and said, right, I'm taking all the SAC money and I'm going to bail out this bad business plan. So I think, that whole idea of too big to fail, I think it's better to let projects fail naturally. Don't support them with government money or centralized money. Allow them to fail, and new products will come up, because it hurts you more in the short term, but it's better in the long term that you let projects fail. So that is part of our decentralization and true capitalism on that point.
You know what's scary about what you just said? It's as if Richard Hart used the SAC funds to bail out PDI.
What?
Well, he didn't. He did the opposite. He did the opposite, right?
The opposite.
He did the opposite, right? If it was the banks, right? The way that the banks were bailed out.
You have to let failing protocols fail naturally.
Yes.
So
that's decentralization.
I wish that everyone could let failing protocols fail instead of continuing to try to buy into them, because, well, look, on the Digital Roundtable, believe it or not, we're called the DGen Roundtable, but we talk a lot about being responsible with where you put your money. Having a portfolio that makes sense and not being too degenerate with it. Taking the money that you have and only giving a small percent to memes, into scratch bets, and to risky endeavors, and keep your money in the big coins. Because look, crypto is already very risky inherently, right? Like, we're already in a leveraged state just being in crypto in general. So why do you have to take out an even heavier leverage on leverage? That's only put you in a bad place. So there are a few people in the PDI community that have taken leverage on leverage to buy more PDI. And whenever you do that, you're putting yourself in a no-win situation that you're literally either go down with a ship or you're trying to get people to buy your coins. I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to say anybody, but anytime that you take risk on risk, you're putting yourself in a situation to fail.
Yeah, we had this discussion on a Twitter space earlier by Benjamin, who's hosting that. And we pretty much said the same thing. We said, listen, being in Pulse Chain being in crypto, first of all, most people would say only have 15% of your portfolio in crypto. You might own property, you might own a business, stock market, whatever else. But obviously we're degens. That's why we're in this degen crypto bar here. So we're probably the 0.001% of the population that's decided to maybe put, let's be honest, probably more of our capital into crypto, right? So going into ETH as the second biggest crypto, right, is leverage on Bitcoin. Then you go a cycle deeper and you go into Pulse. Then you go a cycle deeper into any of the other RH tickers. Then you're going to cycle deeper into anything else which is on Pulse Chain. So I 100% agree with you. And this is what we have to encourage people. Make sure whatever happens, you have, I would say, at least 20% of your allocation, even if you're a true degen, have at least 20% of your allocation hold ETH, because that ETH you buy right now at $2,000 in 10 years,
or Bitcoin,
50,000, or Bitcoin, whatever. But I'm saying that ETH right now at $2,000, if you've got $100,000 in the market, have $20,000 in ETH, right? Because in 10 years, that would be $50,000 a token. And you need to have that backup, that base. And then with the rest of it, sure, go and have fun and take risks. But you don't really want those people. I speak to pretty much everyone I know in Pulse Chain. I was one of them that bought Bitcoin around $600 to $3,000, $600 to $3,000. And if we just held and not done anything, we would have been far richer than we are now. Exactly. So the lesson is, let's not make that same mistake again. Let's make sure we have at least a core bag in Bitcoin or Ethereum that we just don't touch and let ride out 10 years, you know?
I got my Bitcoin, my Ethereum in one cold wallet. That wallet I don't touch. That's just my long-term wallet that I might put more into that wallet, but I'm not taking anything out of that wallet. So
that's a long-term. That's like your kids' plan. Like,
I mean, long-term for me is 4 years, brother. Like, come on.
Oh, okay. All right.
Frank,
realistically like 10. Realistically like 10, but
I was about to ask Frank what his opinion on the diversification issue is there, because I know Frank's a lot older and wiser than I am and has more experience in this sort of stuff.
On what?
Wiser.
I said a lot handsomer than me. Sorry, I didn't mean old. That was a slip of the tongue.
It's okay. I'm married. I don't have to impress anybody. But what was the question?
What's your opinion on, from a DJ point of view? What's your opinion on diversification and keeping some money in Bitcoin and ETH?
Yeah, no, I thought I was all in on Pulse Chain and some other coins outside of this system, but I put I bought GBTC and I bought Ethereum in my IRA, and I also bought another token called Soul Strategies, which did at one point a 50x in my IRA. So I'm pretty well diversified. I didn't even know it myself, and I'm highly leveraged in the altcoins. So since I bought in 2020, I think my Bitcoin holding are up about 800%. Ethereum's up only about 200%. It was up about 400%. The Soul Strategies that I have was up. It's up 2,500% right now. So I highly, it's important to look like, and I thought I was like really high leverage, but I'm not. And I think it's important you take your entire portfolio outside of legacy wealth, right? And none of this is financial advice. And you take 1 to 5% and put it in crypto. And then you look at that crypto entity of like 5%. And you go, okay, I got X% of Bitcoin, X% of Ethereum, X% of altcoins that are high risk that could run. And I think also what's probably, this is just my, as we were talking, I thought of this. I think a lot of people, it's flipped. Like they've seen some success in their altcoins and now it outweighs their entire portfolio. And psychologically, that's like, oh, what am I doing? Wait. It kind of messes with people. So it messes with the traditional philosophy of finance and how you should be, how you should allocate your portfolio. So, Bitcoin, Ethereum, high quality altcoins, and then some DGen plays. So that's how I look at it. And I think even within the DGen, if you have your ear to the rail, there's a lot of plays you can make. Look, I've said this before. There's 100x out there pretty much every day. There's opportunity out there every day in crypto. Maybe not 100x, but there's a lot of opportunity in crypto to flip your portfolio and go, wow. You just have to take profits, which I haven't been great on, but you have to take profits and put it into stable coins. Like I took, profit on Teddy Bear about 2 months ago, and I was all excited. I was, and I'm like, the only thing I wish I would have done was take it in USD.
Someone made a great post the other day, and they said, as soon as you get that urge to take a picture of your gains, that's when you should sell some of your bag.
It is so right. And I don't care where you are. it is, if you're feeling euphoric about a particular coin, you know, I mean, I was feeling euphoric about the pain token today, and I didn't take profits. It's gone down a little bit, but you know, I think that it is. I think, but here's the thing: is psychologically, I'm in it for the long term, which is the end of this cycle, which I'm predicting, which I'm not predicting, but I'm anticipating. You know, somewhere September, October, November, possibly into 2026. Your brain says, wait, I'm holding this till then. I'm long on this, but really you got to convert to being short. When you're feeling euphoric, I almost think you got to convert to being short, because it's a top signal. And I've said this before on streams, in our mastermind group. This is really cool. So, and I've told you guys I'm a master muscle tester. I'm a spiritual dude. When people are feeling euphoric, hold on, let me just test this. So euphoria on the scale of Dr. David Hawkins' scale of consciousness calibrates at 580. That is like almost bliss. Like 540 is unconditional love, 500 is love, 200 is integrity. You know, so
isn't leadership somewhere on that scale? Is that above or below euphoria?
That's a different conversation. But my point is that people, they get that euphoric feeling. It's like they're a rock star. They go on stage, they're in front of 200,000 people, and they get this euphoric feeling. And then when they leave, it's gone. They're trying to get that back, and they can't wait to get back on stage. This is the same thing. This is what keeps people in crypto, is when they hit the state of euphoria, they just love the state of euphoria. It's not even the gains. It's the state of euphoria that they enjoy, and they want to get that back. So I would just say, if you're in the state of euphoria, it's probably time to take some profits, and then, you know, do your best to get back to euphoria again. So that's kind of a spiritual twist on this, but that's from what I see. And I'll say this too. In the last cycle when I was here, the euphoria is what kept me here. I mean, the community did, but the euphoria is what keeps people here, because they want, it's like a slot machine. No, that's more dopamine. Sorry, I don't want to go there, because that's more of a dopamine kind of a temporary cycle. You can win 50 times while you're losing $100 on a slot machine, because you hear all these clicks and, you know, all these sounds and all these ingenious slot machines. But euphoria will keep people here. So I would say, you know, euphoria, like you in one of your videos, Nate, you started to share. I haven't watched it all, but it's like green candles, people feeling good, red candles, people feeling bad. So if you can, you know, if you can discern that and take action in a state of euphoria, like this isn't going to last, that's really powerful. It's really powerful. So basic, and it's very basic, but it's almost like when you're in love with somebody, or it's just a, you know, like a one-time, one-off, one-night stand kind of thing. Wait, I don't really know where I'm going with that one. Thanks. KRJ, I saw your reaction and you're like, it was perfect.
Don't stand up and show us what you saw.
I'll dump that one. Even though go ahead.
I was going to say, so we do have to start closing out, but I want to touch on this, and then KRJ, I want to throw it over to you. So you have any thoughts, and then you can start your close out. But, you know, one of the things with euphoria that a lot of people don't know is that, you know, having an experience in getting to the end and succeeding, and you reach euphoria, you can get that same dopamine hit just by talking about it and believing that it's going to happen. So you have to be really careful about just talking about what you're going to do and how you're going to win versus actually going through the steps to do it, because you receive the same dopamine hit of succeeding versus just having that believing mentality. So it's a blessing and a curse, because what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to drive you towards the actual work. But a lot of people don't actually drive towards the work. They just end at that dopamine hit of, hey, I feel this, I'm excited, I'm ready, but they don't actually put in the rest of the effort. So
yeah, and
there's
Brandon,
two sides of it.
You know what? You know what's really important is to get yourself surrounded by the structure, people that will say, "Dude, you're feeling euphoric. You just
Hold you accountable.
Shot me the entire freaking day." Accountability. If you get the accountability in place that can help you come down from the euphoria by exiting, that's what's really needed, because people can observe your euphoria and go, "Here, dude, let me take your hand. It's time to cash out."
Yeah, I mean, it's like we're all good at calling bottoms, but selling tops is the hard part. And I remember 3 times my dad told me to sell in the past in my crypto journey. Each time he told me to sell, he was correct, and I didn't. And if I had followed his lead, he has no knowledge about crypto whatsoever. He's a businessman. And the 3 times I felt euphoric were actually, in hindsight, the 3 times I should have sold and taken profits. So I 100% agree with that.
That's crazy. It's almost like you need a round table.
You need a round table.
All right. Yep. So, KRJ, so we're going to start closing out. If there's anything you want to add to this topic or any thoughts that you have, feel free to say those. And then let the people know where they can find you and anything you're working on and anything we can do to give the community some more information.
Yeah. That was a real deep psychological conversation you just had. And I don't really feel that way because, you know, I've already got the color of the Lambo picked out at the dealership. So all that stuff is already in place because I remove my emotions from trading. You know, my emotions and all this comes from building and connecting with people in this community and joining these spaces and seeing you guys and have these conversations. And I really, really enjoy, listening to all this psychological stuff because it really plays into the TA that's about to happen. This is the future stuff that we're currently looking at. The euphoria is definitely when it's time to start taking profits and getting out. So it's just amazing. I was just looking at the Atropa chart and I was looking at a channel going up and it just hit exactly where it was supposed to hit and their liquidity is almost out. So you got the Fibonacci's, you got the Elliott waves, you got all these different things that are calculated mathematical things, but they're all based off of psychology. All the things that we're doing and playing with right over here. So when the crowds are moving together, people move with the crowds. Right now, we're buying in at these levels. We're in at these levels, but the people that are going to finally be getting in are going to be chasing green candles because you don't understand how much of a slingshot we're actually going to have in the pulse chain community once we start going because of how strong we are. People don't realize that. I just talked to my friend the other day. He's like, I ain't touching pulse chain. I said, not yet. I said, you remember when Sui was trading at 40 cents and you told me to get in Sui? And I'm like, all right, fine, I'll get in Sui. And then it shot up to $5. And he's
sold
like,
at $9.
Yeah. And Sui is completely undervalued because if you take the market cap, I know no market cap, but should be worth a lot more than what it is now.
Currently. I like Sui. I'm hot on Sui. Actually, I've been buying that somewhat recently. I don't have a lot, but
I'm now learning contracts and building on there. So it's a different experience for me because I'm just trying to build community, but their contracts are different. Everything is different. And the whole ecosystem is different. They have a foundation. They have people that support. They have money that they're giving to communities to try to drive it. So I'd like to see Pulse Chain kind of adopt some of these things from the other ecosystems, which is what I'm trying to bring here to Pulse Chain, which is creating games. They're huge for making games. And if you have something for people to play with, that's what I want to do. So if you want to find me, instead of saying I have this project, this project, this project, I just made krjcrypto.com. That's the easiest way to find me. And all my stuff is going to be right there. And then I've got my Sui stuff. I've got my augmented reality and my Daddy Bear, who's actually my character. So he's a storyteller. So I'm going to be very animated in these spaces. I might pop in these spaces one day as one of the characters. Exactly. So, but krjcrypto.com, that's what I'm gonna start preaching. That's where I'll be able to push everything out. I show all of my TA and charts on the Telegram I have called SR Trader Pro. So if you want to see all the stuff that I'm posting, I throw it in there all the time. And then people are welcome to take those charts and forward it to their own place. That's how I encourage that.
Perfect. Awesome. Honestly, I appreciate you hopping in last minute today. It's a good conversation. lot of TA and a lot of technical analysis, but also just some great conversation with some people who've been in the ecosystem for a long time. So, Sammy, tell us a little bit more about yourself. Where can people find you, and what are you up to?
So I'm a kind of second wave hexagon. Came into Hex after the first 10,000 X, so I was kind of coming in, finding out Richard Hart late. So I've only seen the downside from the Richard Hart tokens. So can you hear me okay?
I think you're a lot like
yeah, I'm right with you, brother. We're in the same spot.
Yeah, so but I've learned so much. So obviously financially it's been a disaster in the short term in my investment legacy. I'm pretty good with stock market. I'm pretty good with my other investments. But yes, Pulse Chain has been a loss, but I have had many opportunities to make good money. Goes back to that psychological issue that Frank was talking about, not selling those opportunities. But yeah, you can find me at pulsebitcoin.win. Basically, early hexagon, second wave. We got into Pulse Bitcoin, then we had the famous Wolverine and Pepe dump on us and wreck our charts. So we did a community takeover under my leadership. We're starting to repair the ship there. We've got a beautiful protocol there being developed. So that's pulsebitcoin.win. We got our Telegram, which is t.me/pulsebitcoin. Some really fun stuff going on there. In Q4, we actually outperformed Hex. We were one of the top performing Pulse Chain projects in Q4. So yeah, we're big hexagons, and we're working with Tetra. We're working with Emit. It's coming out soon.
Yep.
Yeah, we're just kind of really optimistic about the future, and we're not really a big token. We haven't got much liquidity. So if anyone wants to dabble, we say throw a small amount in, not a large amount. But yeah, we're optimistic. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, appreciate it. And just so you all know, at the Digital Roundtable, we do have a lot of builders and developers in the Pulse Chain community as guests in the past, and that's something that we want to get back to doing more of. Have more guests. So what our goal is to have a Whiskey Wednesday and a guest show the following Wednesday. So every other Wednesday, guest, and then sort of this just fun, shoot the shit, have a drink kind of show. And we have a few guests lined up right now. We don't have exact dates, but we'll be coming up with them soon. We actually are going to have a new, believe it or not, I have a guest coming on next month, and he just developed a brand new VPN that is 100% like no information needed. You don't have to give your name. You don't have to give your address. You don't have to give any information about yourself to sign up for this VPN, which is very, very rare. They even take Bitcoin to pay for your monthly subscriptions. And not only that, but they even delete your credit card info if you use that after you use it. So it's going to be one of the most decentralized VPNs in the world, and it's just getting off the ground. I think it'll be a great time to have a conversation about security and VPN. So we're going to have that next month, and then we have a few others coming up. So Frank, what you got going on, brother? I know you're always got some things in the pot.
Well,
how's your spring break, by the way?
It was great, thanks. I went to Austin, Texas, and San Antonio. It was a lot of fun. Just literally got back in the last couple hours, so it was a good time. So you can find me at Polanczyk at Polanczyk Frank on Twitter. Sooner or later, I've got a Frank conversation set up. I don't really know how to direct people there, but I'll get that set up in the next week or so. A couple things. So Fat Sammy, thanks for sharing about being on the downside right now in Pulse Chain, because I think a lot of people feel pressure like they should be up and they're down. And that, like, you just authentically saying that, I think it gives people a lot of space to be, okay, that's where I am. Hey, Fat Sammy's there, I'm there too. I'm cool with that. Like, it gives people the freedom to be, look, crypto's not always about being, in the black. There are times people are in the red as well. And KRJ, just so you know, what you shared is Sigmund Freud on the Scale of Consciousness, which was with Dr. David Hawkins, his great book, Power versus Force. Sigmund Freud calibrates at 499, which is where Einstein calibrates as well. 500 is love. And then Carl Jung calibrates at 520. So that's a huge distinction. What you've explained is the psychological aspect, but what I actually explained was spiritual.
Exactly.
So anyway, so that said, thanks for articulating all that, because this is just one giant conversation for people in this community to grow and expand, not just in crypto but in life itself. And I got to tell you, I really appreciate everybody here. I've had such a privilege being with you and talking to you guys throughout the last couple of years. It's been a lot of fun, and I just looking forward to keeping it going. So I love you guys, appreciate it, and that's my last that's my last little bit of conversation here.
Thank you, Frank.
very much, Frank.
It's interesting because normally we end at 10, so we're running way late tonight. And Frank, you literally joined at 10, so we wanted we wanted to hang out around a little bit because we always appreciate when you join. So, Nate, do you want to tell the people about what you're going on, then I'll take us out?
Yeah, I mean, I can take us out too. But yeah, ultimately what I've got going on is I'm going to be creating video. I think it is very important this is a subject that is very important for people to understand, especially in lieu of what happened with PDI, right? And the name of this video, I've already got it here, is going to be titled, "Would you rather be right or would you rather make money?" And
great title, Nate. I mean, because you've taken people's focus on being right to like what they're here for most people.
Exactly. One of the biggest issues that I see way too many people do, and will even throw on me as though I'm the same type of guy, is there's one religion. This is the way there is. I only believe that this is the thing, and that's it. There's nothing else that could happen. Somebody else comes in with a different point of view, and people have a tendency to be like, nope, you are wrong. You're wrong as you're 100% wrong because this other person who's a dev said it can't happen. And it's things like that go, okay, what about if? Okay. And you start putting all these data points together and you start painting a picture of what the reality is, what the actual truth is. And if you only have one side of that picture, you're not able to make the most informed decision possible when you're playing around with your money, because we're investing people, right? And we need the most amount of data possible to be able to make the best and wisest decision possible. So I'm going to be talking about this and how the video that I made beforehand was actually me talking partly about that, and I had examples of the home runs that I've hit so far in Pulse Chain with the Pulse Chain alts. Actually, there's only a couple of them. I've had some other ones, but with that being said, guys, thank you very much for being on the stream with us. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate everybody in the chat. We love you very much. And as Agent J always loves to say, time is your most valuable asset, and you are spending it with us, and we appreciate that highly. This is Nate McGettit, the Ascending Man, with DJ Roundtable, saying to you, degen responsibly.